Pastor Henry, where you at, Ox? We pulling up and Geno Jennings is our next stop. We outside, where you at? Come take your best shot. We got them choppers aiming at you with them red dots. I'm talking Christ's words, I got the right verbs to pierce the souls and know they gonna slice nerves. You don't keep the law of God, that why you sight blurred. The love of Christian waxing colder than an iceberg. Silence, 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 you lying through your eyelids, saying that we violent. Silence, silence, silence. Try again, my friend, go repent of thy sins. You a bootlicker, and we some true spitters. I'm a very left and right, I'm keeping two hitters. Yosemite Sam, quick, draw McGraw. Ooh, who's quicker? Barely tap them on the shoulders and they lose triggers. It's wartime, it's wartime, it's wartime, it's wartime, it's wartime, it's wartime. We are the army of the living God, the living God. We are the army of the living God. The province is back with knowledge and facts to demolish and abolish the tax, to open rebuke, to bring our man of hope into you, to show you the truth and teach you what you're chosen to do. I feel my spiritual power, destroying stronghold built up in years in the hour. A miracle flowers from scriptural showers. A seed sown, a seed grown among hypocritical cowards. They the tares in the wheat, they like serpents that creep. They a curse to the meek, they love and worship beasts. They still searching for peace, but we praying that the end comes 100-fold, much more than it then some. We rise in the nation, we magnifying our race when we prophesying this greatness. He is eyeing and hated, they falsifying their statements. Now that this truth is found light, still claiming Christ is white, but that don't sound right. Ain't no stopping these prophets, we drop. Dropping this knowledge, we hotter than whitish. Jacob beside it at pottage, he so two-sided and bought it, claiming we stole his birthright. The prophet's back and we gon' bring this earth light. The prophet is back with knowledge and facts to demolish and abolish the text, to open rebuke, to bring our man of hope into you, to show you the truth and teach you what you're chosen to do. And teach you what you're chosen to do.
We smashing it, we hitting all, we getting back. You can catch us outside, but don't get turned into a bag. We smashing it, we hitting all, we getting back. You can catch us outside, but don't get turned into a bag. Lord, crack the skies, black some mind, wax some guys. Thy will be done on earth, Lord, maximize. We crying out every day, dying and out. We need your chariots in formation, birds flying south.
Your lions rouse, roaring here, Zion crowds. Descend from heaven with your angels, blow the trumpet, shout. The dead in Christ is risen. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. 44 is now ordained and we ain't scared to fight. We powered up, spiritually you shower us. It's miles of us, a 44,000 tough. The day is here, the one all the nations feared. They'll break in tears when they see the face they pierce. The curse is blessed, now that all the earth's refreshed. The tree of immortality, I have a thirst for that.
We crying out every day, dying and out. We need your chariots in formation, birds flying.
The prophet is back with knowledge and facts to demolish and abolish the text, to open rebuke, to bring our man of hope into you, to show you the truth and teach you what you're chosen to do. And teach you what you're chosen to do.
we getting back. You can catch us outside, but don't get turned into a bag.
Yeah.
We is chosen one. We is chosen one. We is chosen one. Yeah, we them people. We is chosen one. We is chosen one. We is chosen one. Yeah, we them people. We chosen ones with the golden ones. We toting Bibles, not toting guns. We destroying rivals like Pokemon. Not joining idols like Joe's son, but receiving vitals from Joseph's son. Who's the king? I'm screaming Christ. He's the king who bringing life. The law of light is shining bright. Who am I, an Israelite? Still with law and still with might. Building talk to heal and fight for a nation who's not living right. From segregation to civil rights, they fought to see a change come. Protested, marched, then voted, but still you see it ain't one. Jerusalem where we came from, and that's where we going to. Equal rights and integration ain't for those who know the truth. They always opposing you. They all hate a chosen group. They cross ways in your false faces while they ruling over you. The Bible is our holy fruit. Take, eat, and be filled. We live in righteousness cause the chosen ones know he's real. Forsake all these cheap thrills. Keep the commandments and rise up. Romans 9 and 4 gon' rip, bro. That's why the nation despise us. We his chosen one. We his chosen one. We his chosen ones. Yeah, we them people. We his chosen ones. We his chosen ones. We his chosen ones. Yeah, we them people.
Hey, we kings and priests, but that ain't what we seem to be. We dream of peace, but war is what we sing and preach. These kings and priests have risen, that's a scene to see. They kings and priests, ruling in your genes and seeds. The hatred is real, but they cannot break this zeal. The sacred lives by the law, obey his will. Elevate and build the kingdom, y'all, let's make it real. Cause it's getting hot in sin. Go and take a chill, that lake it feel like fire. It'll burn you up, turn a man back to earth, it'll turn you dust. I'm turning up, thank you, y'all, for hearing me. My tears will speak to you till your ears will bleed. It ain't weird to be no prophet popping knowledge with the true word. 2/3 ain't gon' get it, but gon' get nuclear. Bomb by the ton, and here comes a new world. Well, with kings and priests who be rarer than a blue pearl, finer than the best gold, redder than a ruby. Ooh, we all praise it, we our God. Jury, 10 down, 2 feet, I hope you understood me. But right now, they don't see what we should be. Hey, we kings and priests, but that ain't what we seem to be. We dream of peace, but war is what we sing and preach. These kings and priests have risen, that's a scene to see. Yeah, kings and priests, ruling in your genes and seeds. Yeah, kings and priests. Yeah, kings and priests. Yeah, kings and priests. Yeah, kings and priests, ruling in your genes and seeds.
I don't walk through the fire with the angel of the Lord. I done came out the fire without a burn or a scorch. I'm enduring temptation. I'm enduring temptation.
Your kings ain't gonna get it.
I'm enduring temptation.
They don't make the sense.
I done walked through the fire with the angel of the Lord. I done came out the fire without a burn or a scorch. I'm enduring temptation. I'm enduring temptation. I'm enduring temptation. The time has come for me to get saved. Accept Christ in my life. Come up out that darkness to that light that's shining bright. Forgive for all my sexual sins. I found a wife that I like. That's
certain sights that I fight. Throughout my dreams at night, I think the devil's after me. I'm a rebel, he will not capture me. This battle be within myself. I wake up catching my breath. I done did the devil's work, quit it, now I ain't mad that I left. Now I'm walking straight with Christ, not crooked or taking side step. I took a lot of shortcuts that led me down the wrong ways, which made a long days. I turned from that to strong faith. I love you, God, I love you, Christ, and each day I'ma praise you both with all my heart and soul. You took me out the dark and cold. Yeah, I made the sky, sun and moon, you made the stars that glow. Yeah, man, the earth, man and woman, you made us smart and bold. So turn from your sins and beg Jesus Christ to save you. Yeah, I made everything, and one day you gon' have to meet him. I done walked through the fire with the angel of the Lord. I done came out the fire without a burn or a scorch. I'm enduring. I've enduring temptation. I'm enduring temptation.
Walk through the fire with the angels of the Lord. I done came out the fire without a burn or a scorch. I'm enduring temptation. I'm enduring temptation.
Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord. 10 toes down as I walk in the truth. Eyes to the sky like a hawk when it flew. Fist balled up, don't get caught with the deuce. Chip on my shoulder cause I'm lost in the loop. Cycles and circles still trying to be the old man. Arms trust to God but it's like he don't hold hand. Knees to the ground, bowing down but my soul stand strong in the Lord, giving up, I get no chance. Chosen for a job but can I finish it work? Flesh fight the spirit till I sin and it hurt. Spirit overcome, we implementing it verse. Psalms 31 and 5, committing it to him first. Navigating with the Bible is revealing the way. Embracing all the pain while you still in my faith. Elevating in wisdom, Lord, and still it in Jake. I mean, Lord, if I can visit, please give me to the day. Stay strong in the Lord. Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord. Staying safe ain't no way. No Satan breaking in vaults. Palms in my face as I gaze at my thoughts. Lost in his maze. Which way should I walk? Asking for help, but when I pray, you don't talk. Living life in my head, got me fearing myself, man. Got me on edge, am I near my death? Thoughts of talking to you, or am I hearing myself? Medication in the scriptures got me clearing myself. Meditating in the scriptures got me focused on you. Levitating in the spirit got me closer to you. Heaven wait on the souls upholding the truth. Soldiers and troops seeking you like vultures for food. Cultural Jews, they see us all over the news. Vocal with views, awakening you like focus would do. Hoping you choose this way of life that's open to you. I'm about to self-destruct. I wish we never broken your rules. I'm about to self-destruct. I wish we never broken your rules. Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord, and the power is might. Stay strong in the Lord.
The light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. There's a light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
The Lord, the light, I'm gonna let my lamp shine. Sabbath shalom, all praises is count time. Isaiah 58, you hear my voice the way I.
It's that time again. Ya la hora. You know, power hour. Ponle atención, class is in session. Tune in for an hour, maybe more, that's a blessing. Learn from the captains and the leadership. Flee from religion, cause them churches never teaching shit. Everything you learn for your benefit. Line upon line is a requisite. Never take a deficit, yeah, that mean you take a loss if you stray from the way. You get the understanding if you study every day. Apply what you learn and bless when you pray. There's one interpretation, man, it say what it say. Ya viene el tiempo, entra para el templo, aprende mente del maestro con talento. La Biblia es el centro, usando a Israel como instrumento. No te pierdas en doctrina como viento. Estudia y ora y aplica. Tiempo para Dios, ven, hace una cita. Escritura dinamita, morenos y hispanos y salita. Oye cómo explica Israel unido en Cristo para la vida, nunca se divida. Tune in, it's the power hour. Learn your family history, don't be a coward. Yeah. Tune in, it's the power hour. I said learn your family history, don't be a coward.
Yeah, history to learn. It's the power hour. The 11th hour. Tune in to your history. You know it ain't no mystery. Power hour. The 11th hour. You gon' learn your history. The 11th hour.
Rockin' with the deacon while you waiting on the weekend. From the tribe of Ethan with the home Puerto Rican. That's a byword, those ain't names, it's God-given. Fighting from oppression to saving all guys, chilling, giving light to the people. Don't let the devil beat you when you have at your disposal all these leaders that can teach you how to fight fornication, eat in moderation, correcting all these marriages and self-examination. All these different topics getting covered plus a lot more. You probably sleeping if you thinking this is not war. All these different topics getting covered plus a lot more. Just tune in and we gon' tell you what to watch for. Yeah, the power hour. You know, it's the power hour. Yeah, the power hour. Yeah.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Welcome to the Power Hour Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was not bad.
No? All right. I'll take it.
No, it was all right.
Okay. You can hear it?
I barely hear you.
Yeah.
I barely hear myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
Raise me up a little bit. I'm number one. Raise me up a little bit. All right. Always something. Okay, that's good. Always something.
Right.
I mean, we were smoother today.
It sounded good before the show.
Yeah, we were smoother today. I still don't know if I'm hearing you in the mic.
Yeah, that's
Mic
what
check. Can you hear me? Mic check. Mic check.
I don't know if I'm hearing you from. Oh, if you don't hear him because you got the over ear, then I'm hearing you only because I got a little leeway in my ear.
Right.
Do you guys
There we
hear?
go. Now I can hear. Now I can
Okay,
hear. I
there
can
it
hear
is.
myself.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm Deacon Joshua. All right. No, hold on.
Oh, not yet? Oh,
Not
okay.
yet.
Okay.
Let's do the regulars.
All right. I'm offset. Oh, no. You can't do that. Just
Why not just start over here?
hold on. But the mic's real.
Ooh,
Whoa.
That went left.
Yeah, the mic's real crazy right now.
Hey, guess what? I am Officer Job.
In the building.
Yes, sir.
Officer Tobias.
And who we got over here?
The Capitan, Abiel.
The black rhino in the house.
Rhino.
I would say my name, but if I say my name, it just sounds crazy on the mic. Okay, there we go. We're good. And Officer Asher here. We're sounding crazy at first.
Welcome, Capitan.
Capitan.
El Capitan.
Back in AZ. Shalom,
El
shalom.
Capitan. Hot mics. So you're saying they heard all our discourse at the beginning?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I know there's a little delay.
Hot mic.
Kenya Aliyah said that we had hot mics. What were we saying?
I don't know. Nothing
Uh-oh.
crazy.
What did you hear?
Right.
And what do you need to be explained?
What did you hear so that we know that what you heard or not, if the mics were hot or not?
Right.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
talking about his mic. His mic was the hot mic.
Oh, that's what they
it was
meant?
cracking.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I was about to fire the whole IT team.
Uh-oh.
Import one from another camp.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
Right. Yeah, man. It's good to have you, Cap.
All praise to the Most
You
High,
know?
man.
Black Rhino in the building.
Before we continue, though, I do bring Ty.
Why does he sound low,
yes,
too?
that's what I was
him
about to
either.
say.
I just turned mine all the way up.
Do y'all hear Black Rhino? Yes or no?
Test.
Yeah, let us know in the audience. Do you hear the Black Rhino?
Most High Christ bless.
Now you can hear
That's
him.
better by you getting
Yeah.
closer.
Yeah.
I think you gotta get close.
That's probably it.
I don't know if you got to increase his gain on his mic, or is that because it's Benson's mic normally, so it's quiet? So he don't say that much.
I think they all sound better. Hold on. I feel like
right.
there's life in the microphones now.
Yeah, no, it sounds
Okay.
good now.
Of course.
Well, this
couldn't
one's
ask
still a
you
little.
Yours is loud as popping.
I don't know why it's
Yeah.
doing that.
Turn
It's never done that before.
1, 2, 3, 4. Officer Asher, number 5, is popping.
Damn, we live. Can y'all share that we are live? I
It's
told
a-
these guys. I told them make sure they advertising starting Sunday leading up to the show. All they had was the one for Sunday.
Come Come on,
I
man.
get
and
it.
then one scheduled for today. Drop a post every day. The first, and then the day of, drop at least 2.
Say less.
Start putting reminders in.
Say less.
I know.
That's all I need to hear.
Yeah, man. Come on, guys. Come on.
Do this.
Where's the zeal? Where's the excitement? Anyway, Officer Asher Mike sound bad. Yeah, there was something wrong with his mic. I don't know what was going on with him.
1, 2.
Oh, God.
Yeah, see,
popping.
sounds crazy.
I know. I don't know.
Bass in his voice.
There a way to sound test these mics before each show?
I thought they usually do. I never had this problem.
I think they're supposed to, but they don't.
1,
We
2.
really need that RT camera too, so that we can see them
Yeah,
and show their faces
gotta be,
convicted.
That's got to be prioritized.
They hear someone crunching on some ice though.
It's
I wonder
Asher.
who.
Asher's always eating the mic, man.
I wonder who.
I don't want to look at deep. These times I just look away. I just
Always eating the mic.
It's okay. I had gum one
Always
day.
something, man. Always something. Were we on last week?
Yeah.
Were, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't
yeah. Joe. Officer
Oh,
Joe
it was
did
Joe.
close.
Held
It
it
was
down.
Joe.
Yeah.
I wasn't on.
Yeah.
I feel like it was off. I feel like it was an off week. I feel like I've been away a little while. Okay, all right. Well,
Well,
back.
Now
Definitely.
you back. Double the rhino though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
came
it's
back with
true. We
double.
do got double
Yeah.
it right now.
Right, Captain Abiel joining us for the closeout of our feast days. All right.
Feast days.
Happy feast of dedication. all
3
right?
whole feasts.
Hey, make sure that y'all hit them likes, that you share that we are live. I think the time thing really threw people off. And I know it throws people off when I'm not on the show too. I think
It's a change.
Yeah.
It's definitely a change.
yeah, no, I think y'all do fantastic, but
It's not. It's deep in
yeah, I
Joshua,
get it.
though, man.
I
Go
get it.
on.
It's we have
Dig
the
into
chemistry.
the psyche.
We have the we have the
Make
chemistry.
you feel some type
Well,
of
that's
way.
why I put my video up, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll put it up at 5."
I was about to say something too, D. I should have said something. That's not
Man,
been
I just
bashful.
was
I was
just
about to-
like, I'm too
yeah.
busy. I said, I'm just gonna leave it be. I'm
All
gonna,
right. I'm
I
gonna.
can't, bro. I can't. You know, I've been telling you and Cap. It's been maniacal for me. Maniacal.
That's a good word.
big word.
Yeah.
Maniacal.
Oh, it's been real manic. I've been putting in a lot of work behind the scenes for a lot of stuff. Right.
That's what you were gone last week as well.
Yeah.
It's a lot
like
of
that.
stuff, bro. And I've been feeling like I've been feeling it. Like I've been feeling it. Like
Like a cowbell feel.
I feel it like a cowbell gets pounded on in a salsa song.
Wow.
Like the cuero gets, hit on the congas. Like I've been feeling it. But I'm trying. I know how to take care of myself, and I try to stay in tune to that stuff.
Damn, where do you feel
Man,
better
I
since last
I
time?
take the rest when I do, and all of that.
Oh.
I'm feeling pretty good today. I was able to squeeze a little 30-minute power nap. All right.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
I had
Go.
no choice. If I wanted to focus and finish up my notes for the show and
Yeah.
stuff, I said I gotta, I gotta slow down,
Right.
Because you got this whole mentality of push through and whatever, but sometimes pushing through is not the most
Yeah, you need
expedient
that
thing.
rest.
Right.
You gotta know when to take the break, and so that you come back more refreshed and focused and
Right.
stuff like that.
The sleep of a laboring man is sweet.
Hey, look at you. Trying to redeem yourself after chewing ice on the mic.
Ice on the mic.
Hey, I was gonna say last week for the for that particular day, Thanksgiving, we went to Deacon Yashua's house, and we've had some brisket tortas.
Is that what you're calling it? Brisket
I'm
tortas?
calling
Huh?
it brisket tortas.
I know I'm not centered, and I'm not going to stay centered. So,
I'm just letting you know.
no. I appreciate that. I know they always try to center me, but it just doesn't work.
Right.
I have to move the table over.
No, don't move the table. I'll probably move again. I move. It's all right.
Man,
You are a
theatrical.
mover.
You know what
he
I mean?
is a mover.
I move. I shift.
We just move.
So you're calling it a brisket torta?
I think it was a brisket torta.
I don't like the disrespect of comparing it to something Mexican.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying it's Mexican. Torta is known as
A
a
torta
as
is a
the bread.
Mexican dish. I'm from the tribe of Ephraim.
It's a Mexican sandwich.
Yeah.
What should we call it then?
And a Mexican.
Brisket sandwich.
It's too dull.
The original barbacoa sandwich, BBQ,
I'll take
BBQ.
right? Because it was smoked brisket.
Yes.
It was smoked brisket.
He didn't even give the details.
Right.
That thing.
That's where
I
y'all
know.
come in.
Well, that's because he's whack.
I'm
Get some ad libs,
He
bro.
didn't get
Okay,
the
yes, sir.
details.
Don't the Bible say a prophet speak
So-
once, the other
so-
one adds on?
Melts
I thought you were gonna maybe. I mean, only if you could do it safely. I don't want people seeing my house, but at least maybe some of the pictures when I was. out
Yeah,
doing the
yeah,
onions
yeah.
and
Well, we
stuff
got
like that.
videos. Actually, I'm gonna send that over. I
Don't
thought
show,
Daniel
don't,
got
don't
it.
show nothing in my house though.
Like
Yeah.
you could show
Yeah.
the floor.
Like you
Right.
could you could show me on the flat top if you want, but don't be showing my house.
The angle is, unless they're pointing straight at the.
Yeah. Like unless it's like that, I don't need people seeing any inkling of my abode. All right. But yes, so I had the brothers over. I usually have the brothers over every year, at least the officers on up. You soldiers, I gotta make sure you're not weird before you come to the house. Usually by the time you're an officer, you're less weird to me. So
Even though we still got weird ones a month.
no, even in the officer ranks, we got some weird ones. I mean, Tobias is still weird, but I let him come to my house.
Embrace it.
All
Own
right.
it.
I'm the weirdest one.
So I did the smoked brisket, but I didn't want to do it with sides and stuff. So I did it as a sandwich. So I made a I don't want to say secret sauce. I'll share the recipe with y'all. I did an aioli.
That thing was fire.
Yeah.
Sauce was
I
hitting.
hooked up I hooked up the sauce, right? So I did a little aioli to go with it. Aioli.
Hey, I'm sorry.
And I grilled some onions. So we toasted the buns. We put it all together. Through the grits with melted provolone cheese and all of that. Yeah, that's one shot. That was a nice picture.
And it don't do the
You can
cheese
put that bit-
justice.
Hold on,
There's so much melted
let me show the
cheese.
one. Let me show the one that I took. Mine looked a little crazy, but it's still a good picture.
Bro, that
Yeah.
cheese was fire.
Damn, you're making me hungry now. So Power Hour Plus. We talk about the meals. We talk about the food, right?
This is here's the portion of the food.
And these are greensmen privileges. You can
That's
eat
true.
like this and enjoy it without
Nah,
feeling guilty.
there was some
There were
yellows
some
and reds.
yellows and reds.
But I think they took their
As
thing.
long as they
ate it
counted.
with no remorse.
Right. So that's not a great shot.
Nah, that don't even do it.
That's
Look,
an
look a
that's
little
an
messy.
asterisk.
Show this one?
No.
Or it's too
Look a
much?
little Nah, they don't need to
No.
see all that. They don't need to see all that. It's all right. We could just show them these little pictures. They don't need to see all that.
Just go to that first one. That's
Yeah, that
crazy
first one is more
That's the one.
legitimate.
That's
That
one.
one, someone. It's like that was after it was formed. Someone
Try
took
to
it
open
apart.
it back up.
the other one was
Yeah.
already
Yeah,
in
so
its final form.
So I had some smoked brisket. I think I smoked it for like 15, 16 hours. Shredded that thing up, and then I did the onions for them, melted the cheese, toasted them buns, and we had a nice time. You had some coquito.
Yeah, the
We had the
coquito.
coquito on deck.
Nog in the house.
Yeah,
so tasty.
we're gonna be making some for the closing. So I'm gonna do my coffee coquito.
Yes.
I'll probably do coffee and regular. Yeah. I keep it simple. I don't get too crazy. It's just my ratios. You know how it is. The formula, the base formula is what it is, and then Ephraim just start doing their own little things to it. So yeah, I'm using vanilla bean paste now instead of the extract. And I throw
That makes a huge difference.
yeah, the paste I think it's kind of more viscous, right? So I think it distributes better than just the little drops of extract in there. So
Right, and especially with you can't. There's a lot of people use the imitation crap,
Yeah.
bro. If you can get the pure.
no,
stuff,
this is real Madagascar
yeah,
vanilla
get
bean
some-
paste.
get
Oh, wow.
some good stuff.
And then I throw a vanilla bean in there to soak. So I cut
Crazy
one open,
work.
I split it open, and I let it soak
Wow.
with the cinnamon in there. So
That's a lot of love you put into that.
yeah, bro,
coquito,
spirit of
man.
that. No, now listen, if I really loved y'all, I would do it the traditional way with the real coconuts and stuff like that.
That'd be
But that's a
crazy.
chore. Well, that's
That'd be
really what
crazy.
made coquito like so dope was that, right? So do we have the slideshow of the coquito that we could show since we talk about the food?
Yeah, let's
So
get
people
that.
could see the coquito and its roots, right? It's good. And then we're gonna talk about the scent of the night and do some housekeeping, and then we'll do some fitness stuff as per usual, right? And then we'll go into the meat and potatoes of the topic tonight because I do got a lot to cover, and I don't want to cut it out. Man, I've been having like so many different thoughts on stuff like that's coming out, and then so like in the body or whatever. And let me tell you, I've been using the project folders in GPT to drop my thoughts when I have them.
Right.
Because a lot of times I'm driving, right? So I used to use my notes app, and then it would get lost. So I'll verbally, because it records clean, and it picks it up clean. Even with my messed up accent, it records everything clean. And, I'll mention my scriptures and what I'm thinking of or whatever, and then it just files it away from me so I can go back to it later.
So you just tell it, file it in X file.
No. So I'll start the chat, right? I mean, I'll have to file it in there later. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Or I'll open a new file in a project folder.
Got you.
And I got one that's all biblical topics, and I keep a running log because if it's the same thing, and like let's say a scripture comes later, and I'll build my classes like throughout the weeks that way.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I haven't got that nuance in the app.
Well, it's like it's really like having an assistant, and then I just talk.
I gotta get hip.
and I put it in there. No, I'm telling you, it's all about the prompts. You got to know how to prompt it.
Right.
Yeah.
and not let it lead you. You have to tell it what you want specifically, what your thought process is. Sometimes you got to fight it because it'll be like, nah, I don't mean that. And be like, well, yeah, it does because. So I have to give it the breakdown. And then it's like, oh, okay.
Right.
So it's good. I think
love
I
it.
use it as a virtual assistant almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like we have our own little AI robot now. That's
I
really
love
what
it,
it
bro.
is.
Bro, it's like having a Friday, right? Or like a Jarvis.
Yeah,
Right?
Right.
That's how.
Bro, I feel like Tony Stark when I use it, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I use it for my fitness tracking. You know, I track all my stuff every morning.
I've been using it at camp.
Post workout, you know, all that stuff
I
like
had
that.
to give me a meal on 600 calories,
Yeah.
80 grams of protein.
Yeah.
I
Spits
used
out different
I used it earlier for Sonics
good
when I got
stuff.
my
It's good stuff.
slushy. I said, give me the options for all the low calorie slushies.
Wait.
Show me.
Somebody want smoke? Wait, they said, was that a shot? First the barbecue hint, now meat and potatoes. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, snap. It's not a shot. Listen, we all Israel. We all got our things that we do and that we cook, you know. I think it's been put to bed that we've established that Judah really doesn't have cuisine. They just have a collection of dishes, you know.
Sides.
And
Can't
sides
fight it.
mostly.
He said
Sides
sides.
mostly. You
That's
know?
crazy.
Can't fight it.
Is it? No, I mean,
Damn, collard greens?
Bro, I mean, every time I pull Judah together, I give them a chance. You know, I give them the challenge.
Damn, flavored cabbage.
That cabbage.
You know,
It is good.
and they'll mention the dishes, and it's usually just a bunch of sides. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
That's
you know.
right.
Hey, there's no disrespect to Judah. It's like we all gotta own our place. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Yeah.
Tents of Judah raised first. You know, we got to put respect on that. You know, we wouldn't be here as Northern Kingdom where we at.
That's true.
Not Judah getting it together and bringing on this word and stuff like that. But when it comes down to the cooking, man, like, you know, we got more variety.
That's how you know we're all Israel, because when it comes to the chicken, all tribes cook different variations of chicken, but it's chicken.
But,
But how
here's
easy
the
it is
thing,
to fry
and as
chicken?
I go into the real history of coquito here that you're gonna see, but it's you got to realize that it's still all a collective. You know what I'm saying? Like we all have it. It's still a collective.
Right.
It's just that, and I'll just say this: Judah in America, right? Because I know in Africa they have their cuisine.
Right.
But
That's
you
true.
Judites here, you can't own that because and some of you don't even know how to make that. And that's not what you be eating, all right? So, you know, I just call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? I just call
That's
it what
true,
it
man.
is. So
Judah
it is what
usually
it
eats
is.
other people's food.
Listen, nobody's been able to, and I'll humble myself if they can come up with it and validate it, but nobody's been able to give me the, you know,
The 5 dishes.
I give them 5 or 6. It really should be 10 as the benchmark, but, you know.
You give the benefit of the doubt.
I give them the benefit of the
Damn,
doubt,
bro.
you know.
Yeah,
Hey, I
that's
still
crazy.
have like the ethnic origins of a lot of foods.
So you're
but
talking about a full
I just
meal,
left
right?
it alone, man, because there was people that was getting real offended. Like I don't even know
God.
what the offense was about. Like, you know.
Just food.
So,
It's
so you're
some
talking
good-
about
it's
a full
just,
meal,
it's just
not even
food.
sides.
It's just some
Right.
good natured ribbon, like
Come
you know,
on, man.
you know.
That's
We just
right.
going through it. But for those of you who don't know what coquito is, and to correct my brother Officer Joe because he tries to call it Puerto Rican eggnog.
Hey, for real though.
Wait, so
I
what's
can see the
worse?
correlation,
What's
though.
worse?
I can see it.
The brisket torta or the
That's
Right.
Yeah,
or
that's
the Puerto
bad.
Rican eggnog?
Like,
I want to hear
They're
this.
both equally offensive.
yes.
They're both equally
Hell
offensive.
yeah. Especially me. Like
It's not a competition.
I make coquito, so it's not eggnog.
I know.
At
Not
all.
eggnog at
It has
all.
no type
Tell 'em,
of
Cap.
egg or nog. in
Tell
it.
him, Cap.
Hey, it was the closest thing that reminded me growing up. You know,
I get
crazy.
it. I get it. Right. You know.
Wow.
So, hey, so let's go. If you don't know what coquito is, and then the other dish that they give to coquitos, they call it cremas. You know how Levi does cremas? Now, I will say this. Cremas is close, but it's because that Caribbean vibe, right? It's Haiti's right there in the Caribbean. with us.
Cremas, no. Cremas is not coquito.
It's not coquito.
It's more like it's more like wood glue that you consume. That's how thick it is.
oh god,
It's good.
Oh, I haven't done a brisket pizza, Princess Court.
That's a good idea.
we
That's a
mentioned that
good
at the
idea.
house.
That's a
Might
lot of
be onto
work.
something.
That's a
Mentioned
lot of
that at
work.
the house.
Yeah.
I would only do it if I had leftover brisket. Like I wouldn't cook a brisket just to make the pizza because the
Right.
brisket itself is a lot of work. At least as far as prepping and serving. Like the cook is nothing. You just, you know.
Maybe
Throw
get
it
some
in and watch
assistance.
Nah, that's a lot, bro. Because I do the dough from scratch. Like if I cook
Right,
corners on the pizza, then I could say yeah, but I would have to have
Yeah,
leftover
the dough would be.
and then just throw it on as a topping. I could see that though. I could do it like with instead of like a regular sauce, I can do my special sauce as the base, right? And then do shredded provolone and maybe some smoked Gouda,
Yeah, however we can
right?
help.
And then throw the caramelized onions on there with some chopped up pickles. So you get the.
You know, I just got out of
I would
fast,
do
so I'm
raw
like-
white. I would do caramelized, and I would do some chopped up pickles to bring all the barbecue type smoke flavors together, and then do my sauce as the base.
sounds
Thank you. I think I got an idea for a pizza
There
I
you
want to
go.
try. All praises. Let's go into the history of coquito. All right, let's put that up on the screen. Come on. The real history of coquito. All right, let's read it. Come on.
What most people think coquito is.
Oh, if it's a joke.
Eggnog or coquito. Most people assume coquito is simply Puerto Rican eggnog, but the real story is far deeper. The drink we know today is the result of global movement, cultural survival, and Caribbean ingenuity.
Right. I'm going to make some minor corrections because the way they word this is as if anything that came from Africa is separate from what Northern Kingdom is, right? But remember, Israel is in Africa. So a lot of the core ingredients and styles that we use. I remember I did another segment where I showed like the rice and the similarities between our foods.
Right.
It's because it's one people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We brought a lot of our culture and customs to all the tribes that were there, and it just got all intermingled, right? And then, of course, there's Spanish influence in some of our dishes because of the captivity and what they brought over. But you'll see. I'll highlight it as we go through the slides. Come on.
A drink born from three worlds. Coquito is a Creole creation shaped by African heritage, Spanish traditions, and Caribbean ingredients. Its identity was forged through blending, not imitation.
Right. That's why you can't compare it to eggnog, cremas, or even horchata, right? But go ahead. Come on.
Before Puerto Rico, African coconut traditions. Centuries before coquito existed, African communities were already grading coconuts.
So our affinity for coconut comes from something much more historic, right? And look, I know it might seem trivial, but I'm going to throw it out there. Today, who do you really associate coconuts with?
Benji?
Well, you would say Benji because you're not exposed to the Latinos like that with your
Everyone
sheltered
on-
ass. Everybody thinks of coconuts and you think of tropical islands, white sand beaches, and palm trees. So you're going to think of Northern Kingdom,
true.
right?
Yeah.
And Benji like their coconut,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But go ahead, come on. But even them, I don't think they incorporated it into the cuisine to the same level that we do, right? Like we do it a lot, right? Panama's known for the coconut rice,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
We do a lot of coconut-based desserts. Like coconut's a staple, right? Like where we're at, right? I've been to Jamaica, and I don't really see them doing the coconut water on the side of the road to the prevalence that you do in Northern Kingdom.
I do see that a lot with Northern
Even in the
Kingdom.
Bronx.
So, you're uncultured, not well-traveled behind, would make a statement like that.
I got Benji's family.
Go ahead, read this. Come on.
Extracting
food trucks.
coconut milk and creating sweet, spiced, festive drinks. These ancestral methods would later shape Caribbean coconut cooking.
Come on.
African knowledge arrives in the Caribbean through the forced movement of the Atlantic slave
So
trade.
they're saying that it came through the Atlantic slave trade. Now, a lot of things did come back to us when Southern Kingdom got reunited with Northern Kingdom during the African slave trade. But we had a lot of this stuff. And you look at it, what you do find on the, Arawaks, on the Incas, on the Aztecs, what you do find on cuisine, you do see a lot of that, right? So there's some overlap here. But in general, this was a pretty good explanation. So I know we mentioned it. I wanted to explain it to people. Go ahead. Come on.
African agriculture and culinary knowledge spread across the Caribbean.
Come on.
Coconut harvesting, processing, and cooking were largely carried out by enslaved Africans who shaped island food.
Now, we've proven on the show that Puerto Ricans were enslaved as well. They just called it not the castas. What was the other term that we use? Not encomiendo system. So they call it encomiendo, but it was still slavery, right? We went over this on the show, right? And I did some classes on it. But go ahead, come on.
The African flavor logic behind coquito. Africans brought their coconut processing traditions with them, and in the Caribbean, those methods blended seamlessly with local ingredients, laying the foundation for early coquito. Spain brings holiday punch traditions. Spanish colonizers brought their own Christmas ponche, a creamy, festive punch served during winter holidays, but on Puerto Rican soil. Dairy was scarce, and the drink began transforming into something new. Where coquito truly begins. On Puerto Rican soil, Spanish ponche, calidad,
collided.
I was trying to hit the little Spanish twist to it. My bad. Collided with African coconut techniques and Caribbean abundance. Coconut replaced dairy, rum replaced wine, and a new identity emerged, the early form of coquito.
Come on.
The role of sugarcane in African labor. Coquito wouldn't exist without rum, and rum wouldn't exist without the enslaved Africans who powered the sugarcane industry.
Now, I contest here because they started with Northern Kingdom indigenous.
And Puerto
Sugar
Rico.
was the main thing. I've gone over to Domino Sugar Company and our thing like
Los
that.
haciendas.
But again, because when the story's told by our oppressors, right, it's always told with the nuance of making sure that you show there's a separation, right? So that's why they speak in terms of slavery, and they try to almost never mention that Northern Kingdom was enslaved, but we surely were, and we've shown receipts, right? Go ahead, come on.
Their labor produced the molasses and rum that became central to Puerto Rican holiday traditions.
So Judah and Ephraim are pressed together. See, Judah just forgot all this because they put that wedge between us, casting our bands asunder. But, you know, we was in there in the kitchen together just kind of hooking it up. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, come on.
Come on.
The original Puerto Rican coquito. The earliest coquito was handmade with fresh grated
So
coconut.
that's the real way to do it, and some people still do it that way. They'll take the coconuts, they'll chop them up, they'll throw the coconut milk, and they'll grate up the coquito. They blend it all together to make it, you know. But go ahead, come on.
Spices and rum, no eggs. Afro-Boricua, did I say that right?
Afro Boricua, yeah.
Families prepared it in rustic kitchens, passing the recipe orally through generations. A drink passed down through generations. Coquito became a symbol of family, memory, and celebration. Every household kept its own recipe, handed down from grandparents to parents to children, each version uniquely Puerto Rican. Modern coquito was born. In the 1940s, Coco Lopez revolutionized
And
coquito.
it changed the game. It made it so much easier. So, you know, we used to celebrate Christmas a lot, so it became known as a holiday drink because it was so labor intensive. But now, because of something like Coco Lopez, right? And you can get coconut milk and coconut cream, right? Like
that's that
separate
much
can.
easier. Wow.
Makes it so much easier, right? Go ahead.
Its sweet, silky coconut cream made the recipe easier, more consistent, and perfect for sharing, transforming the drink into a modern cultural staple.
Come on.
Coquito travels with the Puerto Rican diaspora. When Boricuas migrated to cities like New York, Chicago, and Orlando, Coquito became a taste of home. A bottle of Coquito in a snowy apartment window became a reminder of culture, warmth, and Caribbean identity.
So, like, growing up, like, it was a thing for us. Like, you know, sometimes, you know, they would give us a little taste of it with the rum, you know, a little traguito when we were young.
When you were young.
But a lot of times they would make a virgin version for us too. So it's very like it's uniquely ours, right? Like no other, you know. So like when Sister Dina tried to, you know, I was offended that she tried to make coquito. And she was like, she said it's Mexican coquito. I said, don't you dare.
Oh my gosh.
I said, y'all got on chat. She be culturally appropriating because she tried to make pupusas and be like Mexican pupusas.
Oh my gosh.
A Mexican never made a pupusa in their life prior to modern times, all right? I was like, damn, you got your, do what you do good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, like I want to try to claim pupusas for us. You know what I'm saying? That's Zebulon all day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's theirs. That's uniquely theirs. You know what I'm saying?
Spirit behind it.
Right, you know? So I'm like, bro, Coquito has a family tradition thing for us and everything like it's uniquely ours. You know what I'm saying? And that's why there's a spirit of the ancestor element, you know? Like it don't taste the same when
That's the
a
spiritual
non-Ephraimite
aspect
makes it.
of
I'm gonna
it.
tell you that right
Yeah.
now.
It doesn't.
There's
Because
something.
we know what goes in there.
You're right.
How
You
much?
could follow the recipe, but there's something about the hand that goes in it. You know what I'm
spirit.
saying?
Right,
Right.
yeah.
There's something that goes in it. Go ahead.
Spirit.
That's why my brisket tastes different than Judah brisket.
Dang.
That
Because
original
the
barbecue.
original barbecue,
Right.
you
Oh,
know,
shoot.
comes from the hand
It's
of
spiritual.
of the Arawaks in Puerto Rico. Go ahead. Come on.
Coquito, more than a drink. Today, Coquito represents Puerto Rican identity,
Right.
African resilience, Spanish influence, and Caribbean creativity. And every bottle lives a story of migration, history, joy, and cultural pride.
So just a little education because I know the majority of Israel when you think of Latinos, you think Mexicans, and that's all your exposure
Right,
has
that's
been.
it. Just
Right.
So
Mexican.
that's a West Coast thing.
That's a West Coast thing, and that's a South thing, because that's all you know. That's the most popular. I remember when I was in the military in basic training, they didn't know what a Puerto Rican was, all the damn Edomites. And they were like, you're just Mexican, and you're trying to say you're something else, right? I mean, look, you've seen even in modern times,
That's facts.
all the freaking MAGA nuts,
Right.
they don't even realize, like, they all up in arms about Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl, saying that an American should perform. Dummies. Puerto Rico's an American colony. That is an
Right.
American citizen that's performing. You know what I'm saying? So they roll with all
crazy.
that. But a lot of times we'll talk about certain things, and just like Judah's tries to hold sacred some of their things, that and you should, rightfully, that's uniquely
Right,
yours,
right.
Right.
Unless shown otherwise with facts and receipts, then you
Right.
got to let it go.
Right. The barbecue.
Right? But, Coquito's one of those that's definitely uniquely, us, right?
You could drink it warm, right?
Right. Just like Mofongo, Simeon does it too, but is Mofongo's really Ephraim. Like that's
So here's
and Cubans. Let me not forget my Cuban brothers and sisters because
With the mofongo, or we?
yeah. Well, overlapping how we our
okay,
dishes
okay.
are some Cuban cuisine. See, Simeon and Ephraim cuisine is probably the two most similar of all the Northern Kingdom. Manasseh's a little more different. They have some unique dishes and some unique ways that they do stuff, right? Like their sofrito's different and stuff. Sofrito's like the base seasonings for most of our cooking. And even in that, that's very uniquely ours too. Like now you buy a lot of the stuff frozen or canned, but like real sofrito recipes, right? And Ephraim's very big on the sofrito. That's what gives Ephraim food its distinct taste. And Simeon will use it, but they have their own version of it. And Manasseh, Cubans have their own. That's the base of all the flavor.
I gotta go
is
check out a restaurant.
in Caribbean. I'll say Caribbean in Caribbean Northern Kingdom food because it's very different. It's very different.
I haven't had too much Cuban.
What you were gonna say something?
Yes, the element that's missing on the West Coast is that Caribbean influence. The East Coast is heavily influenced by the Caribbean, not only Puerto Rico and Cuba, but Jamaica, all the islands, and this and that.
Yeah,
whatever.
big time.
Yeah,
Which
South
goes into the
America.
segment that I want to do. I do want to talk about that and flesh that out. I would love to do that. I think in January, February. What I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like having y'all come out and we do a special panel for the show. Right? Yeah, I got something brewing for y'all because and I'll give you a little leeway into it so that then I can be committed. Right? If I put it out there, I got to do it instead of just it being an idea. I want to do a special topic. I want to get some of the leadership, Northern Kingdom leadership, and some Southern Kingdom from the East Coast, specifically the Northeast Corridor, to come out and do a special show with me to show the unity of Judah and Ephraim,
That would be excellent.
how it was uniquely for us in the Northeast, because I speak about it all the time. And I think a lot, like the majority of Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom, your first interactions are when you come into repentance here, right? I'm talking about like beyond any type of beef or whatever, or some cursory, an acquaintance that you might have had with somebody. So a lot of times the diversions that we took in the different paths of our captivity are more magnified. But when for us in the Northeast, I've always said we never really saw each other as different culturally because of the proximity to each other and how we grew up together. And I would like to do a segment where I show the receipts, how the Ephraim influence, but the migratory patterns and how they came East Coast in general, but largely Northeast, and how Judah and Ephraim were really tight and oppressed together in a modern sense. And I wanna have their experiences, so that you don't just hear one person speaking about it, and you'll see how we was always tight like that. There wasn't this. It wasn't this divide that we have and stuff like that. And I think that would be a really nice show. Zeph can bring a lot of the hip hop elements to it because he has a lot of videos for that. We could bring a lot of the cultural aspects of, how we were in the bodegas together, in the streets and projects together and things like
some good
that.
stuff.
And how stuff overlapped and stuff like that. So I think it'd be a nice segment historically, and I think it would solidify the bond and the unity between Northern and Southern Kingdom to see that, because I know we see it biblically, but I think a lot of us, that's not our personal experience. Unless you really came uniquely from that Northeast type of experience in that cloth, or someplace in the country where we were tightly together, right? Like I think Panama can speak to that, right? It's very pronounced there, how they have Benji largely in the mix with them and stuff like that. you know, and outside of Caribbean nations, you know, bring that together and see that uniqueness and stuff like that. I think it'll be a nice segment for everybody, like a special segment. We'll probably do it as a plus too.
That'd be really good.
I think it'll take a lot of time. So I'm gonna try to make that happen. and see. We'll push it,
That'd be
promote
fire.
it, so we get good viewership and stuff like that. You know,
Captain Zeph, Captain Abiel.
don't name
Captain
everybody
Joel.
that's gonna come. What's wrong with you, bro?
No, I'm just saying. You mentioned Captain Zeph. That's why.
Read the room, bro.
That's all I mentioned was Zeph and Abiel. I didn't mention anybody else.
You want to have a surprise element, bro.
You got to keep them
It's
guessing.
gonna bring the people to come through.
You're right. I hold my peace.
Who's doing the housekeeping, sense of the night, all of that? Let's go.
Hey, the scent of the night. Hey, do you hear it?
I got a little
Pull it
something.
out.
Hold on.
First, before we get to the scent of the
Goodie
night,
bag.
Captain Abiel,
In the
Hey,
building.
come on, guys.
the Black Rhino.
Hey, you know, I actually come with good tidings for the deacon.
Uh-oh.
Here you go. This
Oh,
perfect
a
timing.
Tidings from TJ.
Tidings from TJ.
Hey, y'all got a special.
Am I supposed to open this on air?
You just this and this part. Everything else in the bottom you can just leave out.
A lot of stuff. Okay. All right. All praises.
Ooh, it's a car.
Oh man, you know I'm afraid to open it up, but I gotta show it, right? I guess.
No,
Then I can't put it away. So I guess you got me a nice poncho.
Yep.
This feels
Poncho.
nice and thick, bro.
Yeah,
Straight from Mexico.
That's a Mexican one.
Okay, all right. Look at that. Oh, it got fringes on it.
Like a little,
Yes.
It's like a little tia
Put
made
a
it.
border of
Border
blue.
of blue.
Hey, hun, you gotta do some sew. She hates when she gotta sew.
She's like,
And
"Aye."
then this one.
All right, all the little anecdotes I don't gotta. Okay, what do we got here? Hey,
Fire.
look at that. Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's a nice picture right there.
Hey, that's nice, man. You gonna make me cry, bro. You gonna make
Dang.
me cry. That's the Get Down Brothers right there.
Yeah, man.
That's the
Yes,
Get Down
Northern
Brothers.
Kingdom.
I
That's
know.
that's
Warriors.
that's the speckled bird. That's the cake not turned
Right,
in its
right,
fullness right
right.
there.
In the
All right.
spirit.
You got Simeon and Ephraim. That's beautiful, man. That's touching.
That's
my
just
wife's
like
gonna
that
make me
shirt.
shove it in my office. Anytime I get anything, I can't decorate it anywhere else in the house.
Gotta be in the
It
office.
gotta be in my office, right? And like I'll leave it out because I'm thinking I might want to put it somewhere else in the house, and then like
It'll find its way.
like
yo.
like tonight there'll be more stuff in my office that I left out because she just shoves it in my office.
That's a nice photo.
Right, like the
forums
plaque
look
that
crazy.
LA gave me, you know, I thought like maybe I could put it. No, it's in my office, and she'll like try to find a place for it and stuff like that. I got to do a clean out in my office, but
That's nice, man.
That's beautiful, man. That's one of my favorite pictures. That's probably one of our first big trips that we did. No, is that Guatemala?
That's
Yeah.
is it? Oh, Guatemala.
Yeah, that's one of the long trips we did. All praises to the Most High, man. Look at that. That's beautiful. We've been. I'm gonna say that's the original staying power Northern Kingdom for IUIC, right? Because
Zeph has a little
me
fro.
and Abiel, 2008, right? Zeph came 9, 10 at 1088, right? And we've been rocking and riding together since. All right, shout out to Captain Zeph. That's my brother right there.
Yeah, Captain Zell.
And y'all know me and Abiel, real nice. I'm not gonna cry on air. I'm not gonna cry. You're crying.
It's powerful, but that picture is powerful because we ran across dummies in the street that held a picture of Spaniards and then try to claim that since y'all have that complexion of Spaniards, y'all came from Spain.
Right, but what about
And
what
it's
about
disgusting.
Southern Kingdom
Right.
that's light skinned?
Right.
But
That's
exactly
the
how
point.
with the angle we.
You know, man,
It's
I'm gonna
just
tell you that's
crazy, man.
those are the most do nothing.
Yes. Preach.
Those are the most do nothing that it doesn't even rile me up anymore. I almost never address it anymore. I think after this last trip, the Passover did to Puerto Rico, and I pulled out all those receipts of the slave registers.
Oh, yeah,
and
that was
stuff,
crazy.
right? And the identity being based on what the curses are. So much history has come out through the lines and the migrations and things like that. Like, I ain't got nothing.
Like,
else
if you
to
don't
say.
get it, you don't get it.
You don't
Yeah,
get it,
I ain't got
and
nothing else
it'd
to
be
say.
the lowest of lows.
Not to say we won't teach about it again, because you always got a newer generation that needs to understand. We still have plans to do I have plans to do a deep history dive in Spanish that I want to do that I've been telling you about for the longest. The history of the split and the ties and there's a lot. Laws will life lasts. We just gotta move and make these things happen.
Yeah.
That's another one I want to
It's a lot
do
of stuff to
with
do.
Zeph and Abiel. I want to do. I don't think I want to do it in the classroom. I want to do it here.
Yeah, special setup.
And I want to do it when we have the special
Yes.
screen set up so that we can do
That
it.
would be fire, yeah.
You know, maybe
set that
I even
up.
have a vision to do it like, you know how we got the director's chairs. Do it like a documentary interview segments where
yes.
we all speak and bring certain aspects out. Real nice visual, not just this head-on classroom piece. Nice put together as a nice documentary, because I think that'll be nice staying power and stuff we can use when we go to the Northern Kingdom countries, Spanish-speaking countries, to maybe as a promotion.
Yes,
so
sir.
when we don't necessarily, sometimes we don't have time to do some of the shows and things like that, I think it'd be good if we have that to give to a station, to give, you know what
All
I'm saying?
Espanol.
Yeah,
Right.
and then
History.
see that, right? Like
That'd
a
be
press
fire.
package.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
You know, we'll have some stuff and things
HD.
like that. So a lot of ideas flowing. We just need people, you know, because one man can't do this work alone. You know what I'm saying? So we have these ideas that flow, and that's why we're always on you, brothers, to rise. And, you know, the rise is not just, you know, remember the scripture says, I labor not for my own self only. Let's get that real quick and bring that out, right? And a lot of times brothers come in and you know, they just want to get the precepts and the knowledge and all of that, and you know, they want their footage of their videos and all this other stuff, but there's so many layers of this thing. You know, the other day when we showed the promo for Ecuador, the senior leadership was reaching out to me, you know, and they're telling me good job, you know, and I told them, I said, the Lord has sent the right men in place. I said, and we're just mobilizing them now. And that's why we're able to do the trips and do that stuff and everything like that, where I didn't have to go on this last trip.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had a good team that went, and they were like just these past 2 or 3 years, we've built up such a program and foundation, and these men are picking it up, and everybody's falling in. We're magnifying the strengths. You're seeing the diversity of gifts and things like that. And the ministry's growing and it's expounding.
Yes, sir.
It might not be at the speed that we want, because we're just by nature, we like the reward right away, right? But I know that I've been with enough experience in this so far that I know what those little efforts will produce if we just continue on the course, stay in the right spirit, applying the commandments and everything like that. It may seem like we're not making progress. It may seem like, you know, damn, that was a little rougher than what we thought. But when I say something's a good trip, it's not just from the reception that we get, but it's from all the little pieces that I see that I know are going to bring forth fruit, right? It's kind of like you get a Lego or one of those things that you put together, right? Or let's say a puzzle. Let's say you weren't into Legos. And you see on the box what the end is, right? Seeing the end from the beginning. And you see that. And as you're building it in the beginning, you know, you're kind of like, damn, this doesn't make sense. I got all these pieces. I don't know. But then it starts to form.
Right.
And as you get closer to completion, you're more excited, and you're like, and then it starts to build on itself, right? Where in the beginning, you're like, damn, okay, I need this piece, I need that piece. And then as it starts to come together, you move quicker. You're not looking at the manual as much because you picked up so much momentum, right? And that's the way building happens, you know? It starts with the foundation of Christ as the chief cornerstone. We follow the prescription that the apostles did during their time in Acts and Paul's letters that you see. And then that's why we always reference that as our foundation. And let me tell you, the scriptures are eternal because they didn't have the internet. They didn't have all these mediums and forums. But we're still able to apply these same principles to that same level of teaching and use those things that are at our disposal for that type of stuff. I mean, look, they didn't have podcasts and things like that. And, you know, we're able to put those type of things forth and bring forth a visual and intensity. And then, you know, and then we got music behind it. And, you know, we're able to strike all the senses, right? All the operations so that we can, right, get all that butter to the biscuit. You know what I'm saying?
The last captivity just going hard, going strong.
Big time. All praise. Let's read this real quick. Let's read this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 17. Consider that I labored not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning.
Right. So, you know, brothers got to realize that, you know, and in the beginning you come in and a lot of it is there is a process and there's a pacing that has to happen. And in the beginning you are there to seek your own learning, right? The scripture teaches us when your obedience is fulfilled, then you can revenge all obedience, right? Let's get that real quick. We might as well read it. I'm going off topic here. We might plus it today.
Let's go.
I'm not feeling too tired. And I'm telling you, the power nap helped. I did a little protein shake with some Bustelo, you know.
Oh, dang.
I put the little Bustelo.
Yeah, the Bustelo. Don't sleep on that one.
I put the Bustelo.
The book of 2 Corinthians,
There it
chapter
is.
10 and verse 6. Having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled.
Right. So there is a process when brothers come in and they got to build themselves. And you know, as much as you might not like it, you got to prove yourself. You can't send unproven men to battle. I mean, you understand that. They're not going to, from something as simple as a job at McDonald's, they will not put you in key positions.
Right.
You're not going to be on burgers and fries, right? Or even the cash register you're in the beginning. You have to shadow. You have to learn. You have to grow. You have to build. You have to buy into the culture and all of that stuff. And then, right, when you show that you're faithful in little, we'll know for a surety that you can be faithful in much. And I say that to brothers and even you sisters in the roles that you fulfill. I say that to you all with all sincerity. Wait on your ministry. What wait on your ministry means, the other side of it is that there's a refreshing that needs to happen in your spirit. Just because you have the zeal, we cannot necessarily just use you right away. And I think sometimes there's some frustration because men come in and like, why do I got to do all this? Why do I got to do all that? Trust me, you're coming in on a moving train, a machine with many parts, an organization that's built already, right? An organized nation. And we got there chiefly by the spirit and power of the Most High in Christ.
Yeah.
But what we've built was built without you. And what I mean by that is not to insult you, but who knows better? The manager that's running the building, the store, the company that you're in, or you day one still learning the culture and how to deal with that, right? You got to humble yourself. You got to humble yourself. And just because you see things, just because you see verses and you have the willingness, that's not necessarily enough. It's to your own destruction if we put you out there, right? So that's why when your obedience is fulfilled, you go through the process and you go through this thing that we've put in place, all right? We know. And promotion comes from the Lord, and this manifestation of the Spirit has to be grown in you. And when your obedience is fulfilled, then we'll be able to put you to good use, fit for the master's use, right? Being able to be of reasonable service to the Lord, right? So there's a process that has to happen with that. There's a purifying that happens, right? And then you move forward from that. Understand that. Anybody want to add anything to that before we move on?
You just hit the scripture I wanted to get, Romans 12:1. Because sometimes even you might have the intention. Everyone has good intentions. Or I didn't intend to do that or whatever. Yeah. But you might want to do the work, but you may not have the stamina to continue to do the work. Read that.
The book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
It's a reasonable service to offer yourself as a living sacrifice. You can't do this at your convenience. And if you can only offer convenience, then let someone else do it that can offer themselves totally. And don't get upset at the person that can do it totally. You understand? So we have to be at 100. We have to be giving ourselves totally to this thing. And not to bring anyone down, whether they can or can't. Whatever you can give, but you have to, that, like you said, we started, we want to follow the footsteps of those that already established it. Don't try to bogart your way into something and try to make it your own. That's not the case here.
Remember, diamonds are formed under pressure, right? And the pressure that we apply is never from vanity. It's never from malice. The pressure that we apply is because we see something there. If we're not applying pressure on you, it's because we don't see. Why am I going to waste effort on somebody, right? Like, how many times I tell you guys this all the time. Like, when I stop trying to correct you and deal with you, I mean, sin's always going to get corrected, but I start trying to build you, right? That's when you should probably worry, because then that means I realize that I've moved on, right? Sure. So if I see like a tree's not bringing forth fruit, Am I gonna stay like dealing with that? At some point, I gotta make a decision. Am I gonna cut this down and plant a new tree, right? That's gonna yield fruit. Christ tell you that. He goes, it's only good to be hewn and cast into the fire, right? So when we see the fruits, when we see the efforts, when we see the zeal, when we see the compassion for the people, like you read in Matthew 9, right? Compassion for the people is what drives you. The scripture teaches us to be in pain and labor to bring forth.
Yes, sir.
Right, so it's to Captain Abiel's point about convenience, right? Yes, to an extent, it's at your convenience of what time you realistically have available in the multitude of other responsibilities, right? Because we're husbands, fathers, businessmen, we have professions, right? 1 Corinthians 7 teaches you that. It says them that's married is going to care for the things of their spouse, right?
That's right, yeah.
But you should still move like you're not, right? I think you read that in 2nd Ezra's. Is it
Oh, that's the one you mentioned last
is it
time.
14 that it talks about them that buy? Or is it 14 or is it 13?
As if they
You
didn't.
mentioned it. I think, let me find it.
I always get it confused
It's
where
on
I'm
the left
at.
side of the Bible.
Right,
On
that's
the left
that's
side of your Bible.
yeah,
On the left side of your Bible.
Oh, yeah, you got
It, it's 16. It's 16, right? It's 16.
You want to start at 41?
Start at 41, right? Oh no, 40.
The book of 2nd Ezra.
This is what you're talking about, Captain Abiel, and what we were kind of alluding to, right? But go ahead, come on.
Chapter 16 and verse 40. Oh, my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle.
Right, Israel needs to be ready for the battle. Come on.
And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth.
This is the part that I think brothers forget, right? This pairs with where it talks about knowledge comes by the opportunity of leisure and things like that, right? Go ahead, come on.
He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth.
So it's not saying don't do your job, right? So if your job is to sell, don't do it. But your mindset should be like that thing's not going to be there tomorrow. And it doesn't mean that you're careless with it. Of course you treat it the way it needs to be treated, right? You make sure that that thing stays running and everything like that. But he's saying you're earnest, that earnest of the spirit, right? Your earnest is a thing that you strive for, that the apple of your eye. That's what you're always going to do, right? Like that's what you're going to move towards, right? Go ahead, come on.
He that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit buyeth.
This is expounding on what you read in 1 Corinthians 7 with the spouse. Now he's saying this applies to every other area of your life as well. Go ahead, come on.
And he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth as if he should not reap.
And the point you got to get from this is it is not for you bum brothers, right? You bum sisters that they see this is why I don't do nothing. You know, Christ coming tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's saying be all these things because all these things are needful, right? You got to be able to provide. You got to be able to put things forth. You got to be able to build these different gifts and build and work and all this stuff, right? He's talking about professions here. And he's saying these things, do your profession. But remember that that's not what you're building your kingdom and your foundation on. Go ahead, come on.
So also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they that shall get no children.
Right, go ahead, come on.
And they that marry not as the widowers.
Come on.
And therefore they that labor, labor in vain.
Well, you have to realize that everything that we do, and this goes when Solomon says, all the days of your vanity, these are the things.
Right.
They reinforce the scripture throughout that do those things, build those families, right? I think it's Jeremiah. You read about plant vineyards and build houses, right, for your children's children and all of that stuff. But your mindset, don't ever let those things, right, make you feel like this is your rest. And, you know, obviously in the front of your head, you say, no, of course I know it's not my rest. But where your heart is, that's where your treasure is going to be. And I think I'll just leave it at that because that's not the topic, and I don't want to go from there. But you meditate on that one, and then you'll know where your spirit is and where your zeal is to do the Lord's work and to do the Lord's will.
Because you might think that.
You might think and believe it. You fool yourself.
You get
fool
comfortable.
yourself. Your answers right. Your answers are contrary to that. Hey, listen. We have 323 watching and only 162 likes.
Why?
When y'all come
What's
in,
wrong with y'all?
You gotta smash that like.
Right.
You gotta hit that share
Right.
and share it on social, brothers and sisters. Come on.
Yeah.
Especially you regulars. Especially you regulars. You know what's up. Hey, let's get to the housekeeping. We didn't get to the housekeeping. We went back to scripture.
Yeah, we did, right?
And like I said, bro, I got notes.
That's why we want to hurry get.
I got notes. I got videos. Let's go.
Let's do this. Hey, so let's go to original royalties. Play that video.
Oh, I know that brother.
That guy.
Ooh. Oh, there's the Flash.
So original royalties, hey. If you haven't been to the website, can we put a website up real quick? If you haven't been to the website, gotta go there.
These are available. You know, we've been advertising them, and I'm sorry, shame on us. We didn't realize that they were live,
Oh.
So we've been showing that we got these fire king embroidered high quality,
nice.
All right, sweaters. We got the kangaroo pocket in the front, right? It's a crew neck with the kangaroo pocket. We all like them pocket action. You know what I'm saying? Got the nice king embroidered on the side, right? Full lion. Look at that little elements. I don't know if you noticed the little menorah as his little widow's peak and stuff like that, right?
The
little subtle stuff. We got the blue on white, the black on gold. These things are nice, all right? And we got them for the kids, too. We got a little father-son action going on. We got some youth sizes. Can you show the other picture?
Put that up there.
Show the other picture. Show the other picture. Come on. Come on, IT. Dios mío.
They got it right here. Right here. Come on.
We got them in youth sizes too, right? So if you want a little father-son action,
little
all right?
Avenger.
The wives is looking at it and say, "Oh, they the ones that are gonna do the shopping.
They already got
gonna
photo
do the
ideas
shopping,
and
right? They're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get this with the little man. You know what I'm saying? So it's youth sizes. So it only goes down to a certain age. So you got to make sure you check the site, right? So when I say youth, that don't mean toddler or whatever. It means like kids, right? So we got kids small through 3X, I think, and then we got the men's sizes as well. All right. So you can rock it out. Those are available now. All right. And let's not forget the beer stuff.
Yeah, that's the.
What's the scent of the night? What you rocking, Cram?
Hey, I am rocking Cuban and cognac.
Cognac and Cubans?
I said it backwards, huh?
Yeah, it's all right. They're still the same ingredients.
Cognac and Cuban. How about you, Tobias?
I started today with cedar leather vanilla.
Oh.
But I ended with rose sandal.
So you freshened up before the show.
Before the show, I had to come
and then throw the rose sandalwood on.
So you can put multiple
fam.
scents.
All right. Okay, all right. Go ahead.
I'm rocking the tobacco vanilla.
Tobacco vanilla. That's a nice one.
I
like that
I
one.
only got like the.
Oh, for the butter?
corners.
Are you using
for the
balm
butters.
or butter?
No, butter.
Yeah?
Yeah, butter's my favorite.
Yeah.
I use the balm for the growth, but when I go out, I use the butter.
And you're using the growth oils, right? You got to make sure you use growth, not beard. And, and like I said, some people think it's just for a beard growing thing. Brothers, let me tell you, those of you that are married, you're right, your wives will appreciate the scent,
Facts.
when you're leaning for the hug, the little goodbye kiss or whatever.
Trying to
the
get right
good, hello
before
kiss.
Refreshing.
They're going to hit the beard and they're going to be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be, all right, it's gonna pacify them.
That's right. That's right.
So we got the beard oils and we got the special formulated growth oils for y'all, all right? We didn't hook, I don't know, are you rocking it?
I
We didn't hook
flew
you up.
in.
You flew in.
Cherry tobacco.
Oh,
That cherry tobacco.
He got you.
hey,
Modi.
and I did it to Tobias today. I started off with mahogany spice,
Like that one.
one's excellent.
quickly becoming a
Top
favorite of
five.
mine. Oh yeah. I started off with the
That one's fire.
mahogany
That
spice.
used to be Joe's go-to.
And
Joe's go-to.
after the shower and refresh before the show, I'm rocking the cherry tobacco.
You like that one too. We rock
Very
that one a
good.
lot.
I'm actually just about out. I got like maybe one more dab of butter.
Oh, so you butter.
I do
Most of it's
oil.
butter.
I do oil and butter.
I do both.
Oh, okay, you do both.
That's the right way to do
Yeah,
it.
that's how you do it.
Yeah, so depending on what I'm doing, I might just put the oil, but the bomb is, when you really,
Oh, okay.
the butter and the bombs.
I even butter
You
down
gotta
here.
have both.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, you got to throw both. Some people don't realize it works better in tandem. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, get that thing nice.
Okay.
get
Praises,
that thing
man.
nice. So,
Get
yeah.
beer games.
Yeah, and you know what else is becoming a favorite now too? I've been rocking Clean Slate. Clean Slate is nice, bro. It's a nice.
I need
smell,
one of those.
Right? Clean Slate is nice.
You
But-
might wonder where can you get your oil or your balm. It's go to that website
Alright.
right there.
OriginalRoyalty.com.
All right, originalroyalty.com, right? You can hook it up. We got go to men's grooming and beard care. We got the full selection for you, all right? If you're trying to dip your toe in, we got the 10 milliliter size, all right? And if you're ready to just rock it out, we got the full 30 milliliter sizes for you, all right?
Nice gift set as well. The Manny Bandage.
You know what? That actually got to come down
Oh, word?
because it's sold out. All right, that's how we started. Right, that's how we started, and then we upgraded, So,
Solomon's Wisdoms.
yeah, we still got the Solomon's Wisdom individually. Maybe I'll run a special on those. I don't know. I gotta see. Put them in a bundle. I think maybe it'll sell a little better if I put them in a bundle. All right.
People love
Ruvain,
bundles.
if you listening, remind me to do that. Or I don't know if Sister Thaya is listening. Remind me to bundle up the Solomon's wisdom, and maybe we run a little sale on that, so people could clear out the original formula. All right. Nice scent too. The Solomon's wisdom's a unique scent. Yeah. Unique scent. All right. So that's the original royalty housekeeping. What do we got for fitness? Let's jump into a little fitness real quick. Got to give it to him. Can't skip it. Can't skip it.
Because you got to be green.
Can't skip it. Let me see what we got here. Got a lot. Don't let me lose any of these. All right. I'm going to keep it brief today. Don't let me lose any of these. I'm going to do 2. I want to do the one with the liver, the Dr. Healthcare. All right. Hold on. Actually, I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do the one about fat and the pig too. And I'm going to do the calorie comparison picture because those are always nice and people see that, all right? The one with the photo. Yeah, so that'll be those 2, right? Because one's words and one's photo, all right? But let's start with the Dr. Healthcare because them videos is good, man. I like those.
I gotta work out every day just to burn all this body fat. Meanwhile, bro is up there chugging more calories, and he doesn't even know how hard this is. Now I'm already tired.
We are out of storage. Where do I dump all this body fat? And this storage is already full. This one too. Ugh, this is no use. And the owner isn't even helping at all. If only he knew how much body fat he has got. He would have taken his life serious.
So stop. This is what's going on inside your liver, right? And insulin serves a function, right? Because everybody talks about insulin, oh, it spikes your blood sugar. You don't realize insulin is what shuttles nutrients where it needs to go. When you're over fat and you're obese, it predisposes that transport of the fuel that you consume, which is your food, to more fat stores, right? When it's when you're a prime and you're operating, right, it moves it to the muscle, right? That's why it's good to have lean mass and everything like that. But what happens when you're over fat, right? Meaning it stores it in your liver and selective other organs, right? That where it's needed. When the liver fat is full, it can't hold no more, right? So where's it going to go? So this is what's happening is run out of fat storage inside the liver, right? Go ahead, come on.
Yo, what's going on? All the fat storage is full. I don't even know where to dump this anymore.
Damn, you're right. Well, I guess we just dump it into the body fat tissue. That will make him notice.
You sure?
Yeah, sure, let me help you.
Doc, am I losing weight yet?
No, you actually gained 3 times more than the last time you came here. Your liver is storing way too much fat because of your diet. When the liver storage gets full, it starts sending the extra fat into your body fat tissues. That's how people gain weight.
So I did this to myself?
Yep, you can reverse it. Just cut down on the extra calories, eat lighter, and exercise regularly. You can start practicing that by hitting the gym now.
There you go, in a nutshell. So you wonder why you got chichos and, spare tires and, you got wings on your back and folds and creases everywhere. There you go. That's the process that happens, right?
That's crazy.
But when you're primed and you're doing it right, the fat goes where it needs to go. When it got nowhere else to go, it got to send it somewhere, right? So that's when it sends it to the body tissues. And then you'll have the visceral and whatever, and we've gone over that. Check this out. There's another strange fact, right? And I looked it up. It is pretty accurate, although physiology is a little different, right? Come on.
Are you fatter than a pig? A study found the body fat of an average pig is 18.2% per DEXA scan results.
Come on.
The average American man is 28%. The average American woman is 40%.
Look it up. It is relatively accurate, all right, within reason. Now, they're going to say, okay, it's different tissues and stuff like that. But the point is, you see how big and fat a pig is?
Right.
The average pig is 18.2% on DEXA.
That's
right, because everybody like DEXA,
right.
But the average American man is 28%. So for you reds, yellows, and greens, you know what I'm talking about. Let's put that in perspective, all right?
Damn.
If you are anything above 18.2%, you are fatter than a damn pig.
Ouch.
So we're gonna start calling the greens and yellows piggies. I gotta send this to Captain Shem. I forgot to send it to him. I think
He's gonna utilize that.
I think Captain Shim will get a
vexation
kick out of
to
this.
be brought to
The
a
average
whole
American
nother
woman is 40% body fat.
They got a 10% window though, right? Like they have to have 10%.
Who?
Women for them to like that's healthy fat that women keep.
30 and below is what's considered healthy for a woman.
But as far as like hormonally, they have.
Well,
to have a
men
10%.
and women, if you get too low,
right?
It messes with your hormones.
Okay.
Yeah, because fat and cholesterol is primarily for hormone health.
Mm.
Right. It does become a store of energy as well. Right. So that it serves that purpose as well. But as far as how it processes in the body and why you need it, fats and cholesterols primarily deal with. I'm just oversimplifying it, but primarily deals with hormones.
Right.
Right. Okay. Carbs are energy. Immediate energy,
Yep.
right? And then
Yep.
protein is for building and stuff like that.
Right.
No appreciable amounts of it are stored beyond its capacity for that, right? So, but yeah, man, I thought that was crazy. I said, damn. I said, pigs is leaner than most of our brothers and sisters right now.
Damn.
So you gotta get to 18. No, I think a woman at 18% is gonna look like
That's like bodybuilder status.
she gonna have a
on point.
pretty well. Let me put it in perspective. If she strength trains properly,
right?
Because you could be 18% and not have anything
muscle
popping
mass.
and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that's the other thing. I'm not gonna go over it today, but the illusion of body fat, right? Like two different people can look different at the same body fat, right? There's general things you look for in the body fat department. So when it comes to that, all right, swipe that away, and let's do the picture first, right? I've been seeing this page pop up and I love it. I should follow it. It kind of does the same thing like the videos that we do where they show how the calories on one side, calories on the other. But what I liked about this one is that all this food that you see right here is 1491 calories, right? Because you got the people that say, oh, that's too much. You would look at it and say, damn, that's a lot of food, right? Look at Asher's face. Like, damn, that's pretty significant, right? French fries, fried eggs, steak. What's this going on? Oreos, Biscoff. What in the world? All right, jump up to the top of it. Let's look at the writing. What does this consist of? What does this consist of? Read that.
You can have this insane amount of food for just 1,400 calories. Breakfast, 301 calories. Kickstart your day with a protein punch. Steak, eggs, and crinkle cut fries. Eggs, 15, one egg, 62 calories. Rump steak.
You don't got to go through all the details, but just you can read eggs, rump steak, potato.
Eggs, rump steak, potato.
Right, and you see the macros there. Go ahead, come on.
Midday recharge, lunch, 226 calories, a light and lean lunch combo. Chicken meatball sub with mozzarella.
Right, and people are like, oh, no, I only got to eat dry grilled fish and grilled chicken and all this other stuff, right? No, you can get creative and enjoy your foods, right? Go ahead, come on.
Chicken mince.
It means ground chicken.
Sub mini. Reduced fat mozzarella, rocket. Dinner. Chicken, rice, and vegetables. Vegetable, white rice cooked, chicken breast, snacks galore.
Right, 704 calories. If you're a snacker, you can have snacks.
So they prioritize the snacks for the calories.
Come on.
Chicken curry and noodles, chicken breast, vegetables, Singapore noodles, sauce, curry sauce. Where we at?
Berries and ice cream.
Berries and ice cream. Mixed berries. 0.5 cup. Mint Veneta.
It must be some English thing, I think, or something like that. But go ahead, come on. And then discretionary, right? Because he was saying you can have it for less calories than that. But if you're willing to bump it a little bit, you can still even add on top of that. Come on, what?
Oreo ice cream sandwich.
Yes, when you're dieting, you can have an Oreo ice cream sandwich. Would you look at that? That's a mini.
105
Right?
cal.
That's a mini. But go ahead, come on.
Biscoff.
You know you love them Biscoff cookies.
Oh,
come
I
on.
do.
Arrow dark and milk mousse. 1,491 calories. 118 grams of protein.
Right, right. So that's I think that's pretty significant. And let me tell you, that's kind of how I eat. You know, I know some people's all judgmental on my posts. I'm sure they're just silent about it because they have in their mind what's nutritious, right? Meanwhile, you're covering all your bases on this and still having flavorful, delicious meals that you can put together. You guys got to stop making it seem like you got to brutalize yourself to lose weight. Like you don't have to. You don't have to. And that's a 1,400 calorie deficit, right? That's would
a
be
deficit,
That would be mostly like people Asher size, right? That want to aggressively lose weight, right?
Yeah.
And Zacchaeus.
I'm
right?
at 1,600.
I'm not putting myself in that. or women, like smaller women would typically have to eat that calorie. But most men can be in a deficit at 2,000 calories, even a little above, depending on how
they
big
can have
you
more
are.
than that.
They can have even more than that. But the point is that you're making filling choices here. That's a lot of food, right? If you do it all on little snacks and calorie-dense foods, you're going to be hungry. But look at all this food volume that you're getting. And, you know, they weigh, they track it, and they see what's going on. I wish Ruvain would have been on the show today because I wanted to go over his granola story and how his learning curve as he's tracking now. And he realized, oh, damn, I'm eating this, and then I'm messing myself up later in the day to meet the rest of my goals, you know? Keep Officer Ruvain in prayers, too. He's been dealing with some health things, all right? So make sure you send up the prayers for the officer, all right? What about a couple Krispy Kremes in place of those cookies? Now, look, ideally, that's not something you do every day, but if it fits your caloric intake for the day and you're hitting your protein goals and your fiber, you can have it. There's nothing wrong with it. What I would say is that most people can't have it because there was another comment here where it said, oh, look, Princess Course, she said Biscoff's too addictive, right? Some people, you know, you can't just do the serving. You can't just do the one pack of the Biscoff, right?
What I eat is hard.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? It triggers certain things in you, right? I was talking with Officer Zarate the other day, and he was trying to get a better understanding of the macro breakdown too. And I was telling him, he was like, damn, how do I feel those carbs, on my cut? Everybody's so nervous about the carbs. No, he had a pretty good amount. Like he could do like 153 a day and still hit his goal if he's doing a balanced diet and not the rapid fat loss. And I told him, I said, look, ideally you fill it with carbs that are kind of more filling and dense, like things that are high in fiber, potatoes, brown rices and things like that. I said, even fruit's okay. I said, but, like you could even fill it with cookies if you wanted to. But what it's going to do is those type of things do digest fast, spikes. It does spike your insulin so that your body can bring it down, and it creates a hunger binge.
Yes,
right?
It does.
Especially the foods that are hyper palatable. So I would say, although this is an example here, most of you that know that you lack the discipline shouldn't eat any of that type of foods. You should do it more with other types of things, right? And I'm talking about the packaged stuff. Everything else is fine, right? You could do the fries, the eggs, the steak, stuff like that.
And to your point, Deacon, this is 1,491 calories, 118 grams of protein. But what if he's like 160 and he needs the 160 grams of protein?
Then you adjust it as needed.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Based off that alone, you may not can do this every day just based off that fact.
Right. So you
might need to up the protein a little bit.
Yeah. No, listen, if you're in a deficit, no, the process is the only reason buying the processed sugar items is a bad move is it because it makes you overeat. See, that's the one that I'm not going to go over that I have today, and it explains how processed foods work.
Oh, yeah.
There are healthy processed foods, right? Like yogurt is processed.
Right.
That's original form, right? There's healthy meals that you can get that are processed together and stuff like that. Even let's say cold cuts can be in moderation good for you. And the only reason I say in moderation is some of them can be high in salt and nitrates. It depends on what you get. So you don't want to eat them every day. You know what I'm saying? But most of them are very lean. They're not fatty. It's good lean sources of protein. You can work all of them in. We got to stop thinking in terms of this type of food is bad and this one's good. Right. And you got to get hammered in on your... Everything is accomplished, whether you're counting the calories or not, through your caloric consumption, right?
Thank you.
And what happens is the foods that you call healthy, they're actually more nutritious. They're more satiating, meaning they make you fuller, right? It's very hard to overeat chicken breast and broccoli. You know what I'm saying? Right?
That's facts.
Very easy to smack down 5 of those mini Oreo ice cream sandwiches.
Very easy. Easy work, right?
Right. I think until you get a handle and you stabilize some hormones and things like that, you stay away from all those things, and you only introduce them when you feel like you're going to break, right? Damn, I need a little something. And then you have something to look forward to, and you say, okay, today I get to eat a little more loose, but still stay within my calorie goal, and then move from there. That's the best way to do it, right? Right? And people use the word moderation, but moderation is different to you than it is to me, right? It's like, it's the way it works, It's the way it works. So everything is the law of thermodynamics. You got to run through that, right? So we're going to move on to the main topic, all right? We're going to move on to the main topic. So, I've been talking about, what's going on in Venezuela, different things going on. And we still got so much information here. I'm not going to go through all of it because I do want to get to my verses and the example I want to make. I am going to use the example of Cuba and Venezuela. I want to show you some stuff, right? We're going to start with the black and white Castro video. Actually, before we get to that, I want to start with the one where they honor him first. And the ones that we're going to use today is going to be the black and white Castro. We'll use the other Fidel speech. We'll use the anti-conquista speech. And then we'll use the Chavez Venezuela for oil. All right. But first, let's start with the one where they were commemorating his passing. And I want to show you because it's going to lead into different propaganda and stuff like that, right? The title today, the topic is Capitalism, Communism, and Socialism. And we're going to show you biblical economics, right? And how part of the Crafty Council and what they have out there is the way they push capitalism too. I think sometimes we don't speak about the capitalistic aspect enough. And capitalism is sold, packaged, sold, and shoved on our throats as the best way. The easiest way to understand capitalism, and we'll get into definitions, is it's the get rich or die trying at any expense, even if it means overcoming someone. And then the logic behind it is, why should I care about somebody else? Lift yourself up by your own bootstraps, so to speak, right? But what you'll see is that biblically, the way we moved as Israelites, the way the law prescribes certain things, all right, is the most anti-capitalist thing there is, right? And what it shows is that it is effective and it does work when all those things are right. I'm telling you, the Bible covers all bases. It even covers economics and how we should move in that regard, right? And while we're not in power to do this and say, okay, we're going to change the world and everything. No, listen, we know the earth's given into the hands of the wicked. Part of what comes with their democracy is the capitalistic aspect as well, right? And that's why they push it everywhere. So it's not just that they want you to accept democracy and their ideals. What you see going on with Venezuela, Cuba, and all these countries that have these sanctions on them is if you threaten the capitalistic aspect of what starting with the United States is doing, right? That's when they come with the sanctions. They try to make it seem like it's for humanitarian aid, that there's terroristic actions, that there's drug things going on. The real thing that's driven behind it is outside of the scope of today's show. It just popped into my head. There was something else that I was looking at called Brenton Woods. In your own time, if you want to look it up. It's a meeting that happened after World War II where the U.S. and all their craftiness, I'm just giving you a summary, but it's juicy stuff. I'll talk about it in another segment. Actually, if you guys remind me, I'll talk about it next week, Lord's Will Life Last, because I think it's worth it to speak so you can see the depths of the evil. It's when Brenton, Brenton Woods, and it was shortly after World War II when the U.S. set up the dollar as the standard, right? And they said, look, we got all this gold. I want to say it was World War II. Maybe it was World War I. When we go through it, I'll give you all the facts. I may be a little off, but I'm going to give you the gist of it. They persuaded all the other world's countries to say, look, we got this gold to back up the dollar, right? Ours is the most stable currency because we got the gold to back it up. We need to come together with a world economy, and we're going to back it up with the U.S. dollar, right? And there's more depths to this, right? People who've read about it, I'm sure people are going to start saying, oh, yeah, that reminds me of this, that reminds me of that, that reminds me of this. And this is how they set up all their monetary funds and everything. And everything's driven by the dollar. That's why you'll see in the news, like the dollar compared to this or whatever. And the dollar drives everything. And then you're forced to do trade based on the dollar. I mean, it's your currency, but it's based on the dollar, right? Everything's based on the dollar. And it sounded like a sweet deal when they put it out because it was backed by gold. But then they changed monetary policy, right? And within the way that the craftiness of how they wrote these things, it became backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. And then what happens is when you're able to print money like that and it's not tied to something, the way you value it now becomes about how much is in circulation versus how the rest of the gross domestic product is going. And these are all the little terms that you hear that's way above a common Jake's understanding or even care for us to be involved in it. But it's interesting that you know these things because it affects the global dominance of the United States. And that's why when things like BRICS come out, when you had the Comic-Con, when Cuba and Russia and China were trying to come together with their own unification, they come down so hard on it. And they don't necessarily say that it's because of the monetary policy, but what they do is They'll label you terrorists. They'll label you drug traffickers. They'll label you all these different things that are trigger words. It's the propaganda, so that then they can justify actions and regime change, so that they can maintain their power. A lot of people think it's America's military might that keeps them in power. It is their way that they deal on the world stage with economics, largely driven by the U.S. dollar, and then they can back it up with
the military.
With the military as the stick. It still goes back to the Monroe Doctrine and then the Roosevelt corollary.
Man, they
right?
think deep. They think deep.
Their heart is deep, right? Their heart is deep, right? Anyway, that's Bretton Woods. I mention that because it does have some relevance. I'll give you the summary to what we're going over today, because as I talk about what's happening in Venezuela, and then I want to bring it back biblically so you can see what's happening, you'll see how these things are impacted and what really the solution is, but that solution is only going to be brought about when things are set right, right? When Christ returns and his kingdom's established, 1,000-year reign, but also how we use these principles amongst ourselves, because the reality is we can apply some of these economics, right, within our own community, right? And it's also going to show some of the brothers and sisters' spirits of how they run with their hustles. And I call it their hustles. They call it their businesses. But how they have their hustles and their business ideology is based on capitalism, and not the term that I'm going to use, and we'll give definitions for it, is the egalitarian idea of how we do things, right?
According to the Bible.
According to the scriptures, all right? According to the scriptures. But let's show this clip that I got here. This was recently in Cuba, because they would have you believe that in Cuba, what? That everybody hates Castro, right? Yep. Right. They would tell you that everybody hates Castro, that he was oppressing the people and all this other stuff. And America's going to tell their stories like America does, right? And, you know, it makes it harder for them. Once upon a time, it was so much easier because of the faith that we had in the government. But there's so much news, fake news, right? And you don't know what to hear, but just check out this clip. So stop. They're saying, yo soy Fidel. They were in Havana, Cuba. This was November 25th, 25. And they were commemorating and honoring his death. Right? These are the ones that understood what he was really trying to do, but they demonized him to make him feel like it was oppression. Right? And I spoke about this years back. I did a show, and I said that they labeled him a communist, but everything that he tried to do, him, even, and I know we got to stop feeling so squeamish about talking about Che Guevara, because I know that they try to write down that he was an Irishman and all that stuff. They could say whatever the hell they want. There's no way on God's green earth that an Edomite fought so hard and dedicated his life,
his spirit,
to Spix, right?
Right.
Because then if that's the case, then you can go ahead and say then Frederick Douglass, who fought for all of that. Because Frederick Douglass is allegedly a white man's son.
Right, based on his father and all this other stuff.
Remember, if they could change the operations of time,
right,
then they could do the same thing with our own people.
You can say whatever the hell you want. I know we feel like, oh, we don't want to talk about him. We got to leverage that because he was powerful. They try to take credit for everything. So they're going to say he's white and that it was a white man helping us, right? You can't tell me that he fought the way he fought, right? And if you look behind Che Guevara's story and that it was an Edomite putting all that effort into.
And you know what? To back you up on that, even in Ecuador, there's a famous painting. I'll send it to you guys so you see it later. Called "The Black Kings of Esmeralda," and they changed the title to "The Mulatto Kings of Esmeralda," which means that their father happens to be from Spain. That's not true. They were Maroons.
Wow, look at that.
Escaped and ended up in Ecuador. And they became kings in Ecuador.
Let's not forget 1 Maccabees 3:48. Can we read that real quick?
Yes.
Right?
That was a good story.
And there was some hack online apologists that tried to refute this. He used me in a clip that I brought out. And it's funny because he strawmanned it, right? And do you understand what the strawman fallacy is? Look up strawman fallacy, right? Let me let you know what this guy wound up doing. And I'll address it briefly. Asher wanted me to do a whole show on it. All right. Let's just read that real quick.
A straw man fallacy is a logical fallacy where an argument is misrepresented or distorted to make it easier to attack.
Right. And this particular guy, and I'm not going to do it, but like, Asher wanted me to show the video and stuff. So I'm not going to give him shine to break that down. He's not worth it. Like, what work does he put in, right?
Bruh.
Right. So a logical fallacy where an argument is misrepresented or distorted to make it easier to attack, right? It's kind of like what apologists do, right? And I tell you guys, don't get pulled into that trap when you're out in camp and dealing with the people, right? They'll never really fully address the scripture that you're bringing out, and they'll try to go to another scripture, and not in the way that where they're trying to go precept on precept,
right?
And then they kind of distort the argument just enough that it sounds like they have a strong case, right?
Facts.
And that's what this particular individual did with First Maccabees 3:48, right? Because he had used my clip, right? And I don't follow none of this stuff unless people send it to me. Usually the brothers will see it and they'll send it to me, and that's what you did in this case. And his whole thing was not stay in the scriptures and prove it biblically, but he had to go to another version of the Apocrypha, and then he tried to bring it out. But really, his argument still said the same thing, right? Because his argument in short was that in another version of the Apocrypha, that's not the KJV, when it says that they paint the likeness of their images, he's saying they paint the likeness of their gods.
Yeah.
So here's my distinction then. Let's say I go with your rationale and I go with your version. If their gods looked the same like the Israelites, why would they have to paint the likeness of their gods in there? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Meaning, if Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were white, and we know that Zeus and the pantheon are white,
there would be no need.
There would be no need.
Exactly.
Because they would already be white.
They would already be white.
It goes with 1 Thessalonians 4. Or what is it, 2?
Second
Thessalonians. Yes,
yeah.
yes, exactly. So anyway, that was the argument, and it's simple. If anything, he reinforced it because it proved even more that they painted white images in there, right? That they try to put their gods in there, right, and set that up. But anyway, go ahead. Let's read it real quick for the point of what I'm bringing out.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48.
This goes into what we were talking about with Che Guevara and all these, and how they'll try to say that these guys were white, right? And a lot of times you got to, and what you just said about the Los Reyes de Esmeralda, right? The black kings of Esmeralda, right? Go ahead, come on.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Right, it's iconoclasm. They did it with Christ, right? And they continually do it throughout history, right?
Yep.
So there's no confusion on that part, right? But let's go back and let's just finish reading the straw man fallacy really quick. I want you to read the whole thing because this is what they do. Right, generally. They don't address the argument at its core and at its principle, right? They deflect, they move somewhere else, right? And then before you realize it, they either misrepresent it so much that they go somewhere else, or they distort it just enough that it seems like they're addressing the issue, but they're not.
The truth.
Right, rudiments. Right, but go ahead, read the straw man fallacy again.
A straw man fallacy is a logical fallacy where an argument is misrepresented or distorted to make it easier to attack.
Come on.
Instead of addressing the opponent's actual argument, a weaker, inaccurate version, the straw man, is created and then refuted.
Exactly. Come on.
This is often done by exaggerating, oversimplifying, or taking an opponent's point out of context. And it's a way to create the illusion of defeating the original position without engaging with its real point.
Right. Wow. And that's what they do all the time. So you brothers would be wise to kind of look at this so you can identify it.
Identify it. That's right.
And then this is what I'm always telling you guys. Bring it back. When they try to go somewhere else, many of you just so ready to go to your precepts that you don't deal with them there, right? Like I love it when they engage that way. Because I'm like, oh, you want to reason? Okay, we're going to reason, but I'm going to keep this foundation, right?
Yeah.
And bring it back. Listen, what was the one that Bishop showed where it says, where Captain Get a Lie was saying they can't prove in the Bible that Christ is white. And he strawmanned the shit out of it.
Right, yep.
And then try to say that he addressed that Christ was white. And he didn't.
He didn't.
He distorted the argument and went somewhere else. Yep. But he still never pulled a scripture that can prove that he was white.
Damn, so that's the straw man in full effect.
That was the classic straw man.
Wow.
That was an easily identifiable straw man. And he says, see, I refuted it. And he actually did that with each of the 3 points.
Right.
He didn't really address the point, but he position it that way. And that's why you bring up the pigeon thing, you know? There's no reason to go back and forth with these clowns because they're going to act like they won, regardless of how strong your points are. You think like, nah, I got it. I got the magic scripture to give it to them. Remember, it's not for them. So they're not going to be persuaded by it, right? We're supposed to exhort and convince gainsayers, those that we persuade according to scripture, right? We water, we plant, God gives the increase. Is God going to give the increase to a heathen?
Nope.
No, sir.
Is God going to give an increase to a reprobate mind?
Nope.
No, right? So you make the attempts, like when they come up incognito and stuff like that, but once you realize that that's what they're on, they're not going to be persuaded, right? And I went over it when I went over the Pharisee class, so you understand how that goes, right?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, let's go back. Let's finish showing this video. Show it from the beginning again.
Hoy estamos aquí en la velada por el 9º aniversario precisamente de la desaparición física del comandante y aún me cuesta poder como que digerir de que ya la figura fundamental de nuestra revolución cubana no se encuentra.
Es algo bien bonito, nosotros poder leerlo, poder recordarlo y a veces cuando nos damos cuenta que no lo tenemos físicamente es un dolor extremo y qué mejor compromiso con la revolución, qué mejor compromiso con Fidel que está presente aquí.
Yo creo que demuestra una vez más, como anteriormente decía, el compromiso de la juventud cubana hoy de defender cada una de las conquistas.
Stop for a second. That's a high school student. So don't think these are younger people. These aren't people that were in Fidel's generation.
Right.
Letting you know the lie that they try to put forth that he's a communist and all this other stuff, right? And when we see his clips and then when we get into the scripts, you're going to see it's plain. It's a threat to capitalism to show that what they call socialism, it's not even socialism. That's why I say you got to focus on egalitarianism or egalitarian. What they call socialism, they demonize with these bad words, right? The extreme version of it is they'll say communist, right? Then they'll say socialist, right? And they get up in arms about that. But really what the Bible teaches is egalitarianism. And that's what Fidel was really trying to go for, right? But my point is I stop here, and I know it's in Spanish, but you can read, right, if you didn't notice on the screen for those watching at home. These are all younger people in support of the revolution and Fidel Castro. They'll have you believe that these people want these leaders deposed, that they want better living conditions and everything like that, right? And who else are you going to blame? The government.
Right.
But many of them don't want it at the cost of bowing to the imperialistic ideals of the United States and the rest of the world, right? Go ahead, come on.
País, de llevar adelante todo el proceso que desde el año 1959 se concibió y que hoy nosotros tenemos la tarea de seguir llevando adelante.
Por supuesto nosotros no lo vamos a defraudar y estamos hoy aquí para demostrarle a Fidel que estamos presentes y que la juventud cubana sigue en pie de lucha.
Se acabó la diversión. Se acabó la diversión.
Y yo creo que hoy una de las principales motivaciones que nosotros tenemos es esa figura del comandante, que aunque hoy no esté físicamente, siempre ha sido ese paradigma para los jóvenes, ha tenido esa fuerza de convocar no solo a la nueva generación, sino a todo el pueblo cubano.
Y precisamente no siento un vacío, simplemente siento un compromiso con Fidel y con la revolución. Y sé que en cada paso que nosotros demos está Fidel iluminándonos y acompañándonos.
Y eso es lo que hacemos todos los cubanos hoy. Seguir recordando a nuestro comandante, seguir dando los pasos firmes, seguir dando pasos adelante y seguir convirtiéndonos en la Cuba que queremos, en la Cuba.
El legado más grande que nos dejó el comandante.
La revolución.
¿Y qué es para ti la revolución?
Todo. Con la revolución todo y sin la revolución nada.
So they're still committed.
Right.
They're still committed and they're committed to the ideals. Now look, I know how it's going to end, you know. The earth's given into the hand of the wicked, the United States in power. And I told you what's going to happen in Venezuela. You know, it's not going to end well. It's going to be regime change. They're lining it up. And whether it's this administration or another one, it's the same head of the beast. You know what I'm saying? It's the same red dragon. It doesn't matter what figurehead is there at the time, right? It's the same red dragon. It's the same red dragon, right? Let me get the black and white one and listen to what he says about the propaganda of the words. Now, you guys are going to have to read. He does speak a little bit in sometimes he speaks in English in some of them. I don't remember which one he does. But,
before.
Right, but go ahead.
People in Miami, Americans, say that you started a revolution to bring in democracy, and you have not done so.
Do you believe that there is no democracy here?
I am sure there is more democracy than that in the United States, because here, what was a labor? What was a peasant? Was oppressed by authority, by owners of the land.
Stop. So he's talking about the conquistadors' conquest. He says, you think United States has more democracy than here? Because he highlights on the capitalistic system and how it creates the class system of the lower middle class, the 1%, the have-nots, right? Because it's a broken system. Right. It only enriches the people at the top, right? And it lets you whet your appetite just enough that you feel like you're okay.
Yep.
They'll put certain things in place. They say they're giving you tax breaks. If there is ever a tax break that benefits us at our level, what do you think it's doing for those at the very top? Right? How much more are they doing that? Yep. That's part of the big machine of the illusion of inclusion, right? It's a bewitching that they put forth, right? But keep listening. I don't want to stop him too much because as I've been watching more of his videos, he's very charismatic. He was a very intelligent guy. And I remember when I did the class some years ago, I didn't have this type of footage. But I surmised based on what I had read and what I saw in scriptures, and watching these videos confirmed what I brought out some years ago. I wish I remembered the title. We probably had to take it down because there were some classes we had to remove. But I went over it in depth and in detail. If it's of interest to you, I don't know. There's so many good stuff that we had to take down that I don't know if we can cut it. I say we go back and do it, but there's a certain spirit that comes out when a class comes out. That's kind of hard to go back and do it again. It. It's hard. It's hard. There's an energy in the moment. And that's why I'll plus sometimes, because I'm like, damn, I know if I part 2 it, it's not going to be good. Right. I know if I stop, I'm never going to come back. But go ahead.
Now they organize their work. They organize their cooperative. The most free man you can find in all America is the Cuban man.
You are regarded in many quarters, Dr. Castro, as a communist. Is this true?
We have said that we are socialists.
Mr. Khrushchev says he's a socialist too.
But he says that he is going now to be communist because he is building the communist society, and we are building a socialistic society. That is before communism.
Do you regard yourself as a neutral in the Cold War, like India or Egypt? Or do you regard yourself as aligned with the communist powers?
Why are you thinking in war? I think that the best thing for peace is thinking in peace. I am with the peace.
People in my...
So, he reminds me of Bishop when he chuckles. Because, sometimes people will ask like a loaded question to Bishop.
So he chuckles like, oh,
and Bishop's like, I see where that's coming from and stuff like that. I'm bringing Fidel to light specifically because I also feel like with us amongst Northern Kingdom, we don't talk about him as a revolutionary enough because of the stigma of him being communist, of the stigma of that he was an oppressor and a dictator. But as we unpack the layers, you're going to kind of see Fidel gave everybody free housing when he came into power. We were there, right? And gosh, I pray the Lord opens it up for us to go back, man. The brief time that we were in Cuba was so powerful. I remember I came back real emotional from that trip. And it wasn't from fear of the surveillance that we had or anything, but it was a reaffirming and firming up my faith, what happened to us and the way we were shut down there. That's a milestone moment.
That's a faith booster for
sure.
And
I think it certainly drives us on these subsequent trips to these places that we go. I think after that trip, it had to happen because it happened early in us traveling. It happened before Bishop would let us travel on our own. And I feel like that laid a foundation to embolden us, kind of like when the apostles were let out of prison and they rejoiced and they went harder.
Yep.
I feel like that was a milestone in what pushed us to what you see what Northern Kingdom is doing now and where we're at. And it's not to say that I think about it as a motivator, but as I'm reflecting on it now and I'm talking about Castro, I'm seeing the people there speak and everything like that. We got to get back there. We got to get back there, Lord's will. I know we were trying to figure out a different way. Now he banned all travel from there. The Lord's going to open that up, man. And when we go back, we're going to go back gangbanging style. And what I mean is, like, don't be lewd. I'm talking about, like, gangbusters. Like, we're going to go in there, like you read in Acts 17, to turn things
Right,
upside
right,
down.
right.
Right?
Turn-
The
yep.
right way, because the government shut us down and they were nervous about revolution and stuff like that. But we're gonna go back. But I think you can see in the way he was talking. He was like, look, I call us socialist. And even socialist is not the right term of what he was trying to do. But it's what was available as a word that people could use, right? Kind of like we say black for black people, but we know that black is just a color.
Right.
That has nothing to do with identity and a people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Even when you say white people, right?
Right.
It's different. It's different, right? Did I say we were going to do the one to the left next? Or did I say we were going to do the other one, the anticonquista? It don't matter. Let's do the one right there.
Porque ¿qué ha resuelto el capitalismo? No ha resuelto ningún problema. Ha saqueado el mundo.
Stop. Capitalism has looted the world. Capitalism has looted the world, right? It was part of their crafty council in Psalm. Remember I said you could tap Psalms 83 over and over and over for the crafty council?
Yeah.
It's democracy, it's religions, it's all the different things that they put in place. It's saying that there's Latinos and blacks when it's really Israelites. It's fake DNA test. It's all this other stuff, all the multitude of things that they put out against us, right? But he says capitalism has made the world. When you watch these clips from him, you understand that he was not communist, and I would tell you he was even not socialist. He had a vision for his people. He saw the BS, right? And when we go into briefly the history, how he deposed, I think it was Bautista, which was the U.S. backed through the School of the Americas, right? WINSEC, dictator at the time. That was the real thing that pissed him off, right? But go ahead, come on.
Ha dejado toda esta pobreza. Ha creado estilos de vida y modelos de consumo que son incompatibles con las realidades.
Stop. Levels of consumerism that's incompatible with reality. The credit card debt, the us living above our means, killing each other over sneakers, jackets, the covetousness and the lust of our eyes that we deal with as a people, right? The get mine or die trying. We all have that mentality, and that's why I say I'm gonna get on some people. Some of y'all, your businesses that you call Israelite businesses are hustles. Understand that you provide a product or you might provide a service, but the way some of you go about it, it does not have the ideals and love of the people. And when we get into the scriptures, you're gonna see that, right? But when we get into the scriptures heavy, you're gonna see that. Go ahead, come on.
Han envenenado las aguas, los mares. Quiero decir los ríos, los lagos, los mares, la atmósfera, la tierra. Han creado el despilfarro más increíble.
Stop, think about it. Overfishing, the oil drilling, the everything just to extract resources to drive capitalists, to make a few at the top rich, to make everybody else struggle and think that they're a part of it, right? It's destroyed the earth. That's why it says when this man got to go, this man got to go. Let me get that in Romans 8 real quick. What he's talking about here is Romans 8:19.
The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 19.
Is that it? Is that what I want about the creature? Go ahead, come on.
For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God.
It wants the earth to be right because this man has wounded it. It has hurt the earth, right? Remember, you read that in Isaiah where it says him that hurt the trees. Since he's went down, no fellow has come down. Go ahead. We're going to read that one too after this. Was Isaiah 11 or 14? Yeah, but keep reading this. Finish this.
For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who have subjected the same in hope.
Come on.
Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption.
The whole earth is going to be delivered from the bondage of corruption when this wicked is no longer in power. Go ahead, come on.
Into the glorious liberty of the children of God.
Right, because when the children of God, right, when the righteous rule, everybody rejoices. Everybody rejoices when the righteous are in rule, right? You could drop this. Get me the one in Isaiah 14. Just get to the point.
14 and 8.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 8. Come on. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee.
Come on.
And the cedars of Lebanon.
And this is twofold, right? We know that trees can refer to the different people and stuff like that too, but it is talking about the whole earth. Go ahead, come on.
Saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming.
Right. So just going into the fact that even all creation is going to be like, damn, we are so happy, we're rejoicing that the right people are in power, right? That the Israelites are in power, that Christ the King is in power, right? Run this back from the beginning. I'm going to try to not stop it. How long is this clip? 2 minutes? All right, I'm going to try to not stop it and just let y'all watch, and then we'll talk about it after. Go ahead.
Porque ¿qué ha resuelto el capitalismo? No ha resuelto ningún problema. Ha saqueado el mundo, ha dejado toda esta pobreza, ha creado estilos de vida y modelos de consumo que son incompatibles con las realidades. Han envenenado las aguas, los mares.
I'm sorry, I said I wasn't going to stop. You know how we had to let the land rest when we would agriculture?
Yeah.
Right.
Capitalism doesn't allow that.
Right.
Milk it, right?
Yeah.
We had things where where we knew we had to let things restore itself.
Right.
You couldn't keep taking and taking and taking and think that it would be okay, right? This is what he's going into. This was in 1991 when he was in Mexico, when he was still alive. So he, from 59 or even before that when he was fighting the revolution, up until now, he was able to see the writing on the wall that other people just was drinking the Kool-Aid and didn't see, right? Go ahead, come on.
Quiero decir, los ríos, los lagos, los mares, la atmósfera, la tierra, han creado el despilfarro más increíble. Y yo siempre cito un ejemplo. Imagínate que cada chino tuviera un automóvil o quisiera tener un automóvil. Cada uno de los 1.100 millones de chinos. O que cada uno de los indios, que son alrededor de 800 millones, quisiera tener un automóvil y este método, este estilo de vida. Y que África...
I got to point it out. The reason he mentions China and India is because their pollution and their overcrowding is ridiculous because of that capitalism. That everybody wants to own a car, everybody wants to have something and stuff like that, right? And that desire to drive that actually winds up hurting the earth. That constant drive. The Most High made a synergy between us and the earth. We came from the ground. We're the salt of the earth. Correct. There's elements in our body and how we're mostly water, we're minerals, we're all these things. And if you're lacking in any type of out of proportion to this stuff, there's not harmony, right? He made the earth and everything in it with us harmoniously. And everything, that's why you know that this is not the right rule. This is not the age of prosperity, though they make it seem that way.
Just based off that alone, Deke.
You have to see it for what it is. And there's a veil over our eyes. And it's not until you come to this light that you can start to then see. And it's not to say when people say, well, then why do you benefit from it? And why do you... Listen, we got to live in the world that we're in. I quoted Jeremiah earlier. You know, we're going to do those things, right?
Join the wilderness.
But this is why we shouldn't seek to try to be mainstream. This is why we don't get into politics. It sucks you in and it assimilates you into what it is. Our fight has to be the spiritual fight. It has to be the spiritual front because nobody's fighting it on that front.
Yeah.
Even in what they deem spirituality falls under their control of democracy, Catholicism, Christianity, and all the like, right? The capitalism. Go ahead, come on.
Hicieron lo mismo. Y que casi 450 millones de latinoamericanos hicieron lo mismo. ¿Cuánto duraría el petróleo?
Stop. You hear what he's saying? He goes, if all these people would drive, capitalism is broken because they tell you that it can provide all this for you. But if it did, the earth wouldn't be able to sustain it.
Right.
He said, if you imagine all in China, all in India, all in Africa, all in what you call Latin America, would all just get one car and they all had the ideal of capitalism, he said the oil would dry out in a heartbeat. And that's just one example that he's giving. The earth can sustain, as far as food sustainability, everyone in it if it's run the way the Lord wants it to be run. Poverty is manufactured. Famine is manufactured. Food scarcity is manufactured because of the capitalistic engine and democracy. And the ones that benefit from it or the illusion of it and think that they're okay, they're the ones that never care to look at the other. And that's what they call it, third world, shithole countries and all this other stuff, right? But go ahead, come on.
¿Duraría el gas? ¿Cuánto durarían los recursos naturales? ¿Qué quedaría de la capa de ozono? ¿Qué quedaría del oxígeno sobre la Tierra? ¿Qué pasaría con el dióxido de carbono? Y todos estos fenómenos que están cambiando la ecología del mundo, están cambiando la Tierra, están haciendo cada vez más difícil la vida en nuestro planeta. ¿Es que el capitalismo acaso le ha dado al mundo un modelo de vida, un modelo de sociedad? No debiéramos pensar en cosas más racionales, como sería la educación de toda la población, la alimentación, la salud, una vivienda decorosa.
Stop. And these are the things he did in Cuba. The only reason it didn't work is because they sanctioned them to hell. The
And
blockade destroyed them, and it destroys them still to this day. That's why they have the best education, the best doctors in the world. They didn't get no help of it. So whatever you feel on vaccines, they developed their own for COVID.
Damn. That's a good point.
They didn't develop the poison that they put out that was mass produced by the first world.
He ain't lying.
They did their own thing because nobody was going to help them. Right? Go ahead, come on.
Cultura elevada. ¿Acaso el capitalismo nos ha, con sus leyes ciegas, su egoísmo como principio, nos ha dado a nosotros un modelo, nos ha enseñado un camino?
Damn.
Porque
Let me tell
And
bro.
and this is a dictator.
What
Crazy
they called a dictator. And that's the key point. This is what they called a dictator.
Correct.
Just like they'll say that we're a hate group.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like they said, just like they'll slander those who want to do something that's contrary to the status quo.
Correct.
Is what they called a dictator.
You were mentioning egalitarians. Can you bring up that picture that I sent you? That Ashley sent you?
Yeah, and we're gonna go over the definitions of it too.
This man right here is James Roldos Aguilera. I've been talking about this man from the early years of me being in IUIC, and this man right here was a perfect example of what an egalitarian is. And just to summarize, he opposed U.S.-backed dictators. He promoted human rights over Cold War alliances, threatened U.S. corporate control, especially oil. What he wanted was he wanted to bring sovereignty to Ecuador, and not only Ecuador but Colombia and Venezuela, and promote human rights for all of South America. The economic hitman gave this man a plane, and it crashed in one of the mountains in the Andes. Now, whenever a plane crashes, what's one of the first things that they look for before they even look for the people? There's a device.
Video recordings?
Yes.
Oh, the device in the
The
plane.
black box. This plane didn't have one. Okay? But they wanted to eliminate this man because he threatened what the U.S. wanted. They wanted South America. They wanted now. What's going on? Ecuador is on the American dollar. They took away the sucre, and now they're on American dollar. So imagine once the dollar loses its value, what do you think is going to happen to Ecuador? Okay, so I just wanted to highlight this, man.
Right. That's a good point. Let's show the last Castro video, and then I'm gonna jump into some scriptures to break this down and bring it home. There we go. Oh no, and I think I said I wanted to show Chavez, but go ahead. So stop. What is the cause of drug addiction, of unemployment, of poverty, of racism, of machismo? The origin of all this is capitalism. It is colonialism and imperialism. Yeah. They're all synonymous with each other, these words. But they deceive millions of people in order to continue directing and ordering the world. Goes back to that Bretton Woods that I spoke about, right? So read what he's saying because he's talking in Spanish very emphatically. He died on this pedestal. He died on this pedestal. Man, and they try to assassinate him in so many ways.
Many times.
So many times. It's you see it, like if you look it up, like the CIA files, they could not stand this dude because he was going around and people would get he started to come up in an age where people, even though the interviewers would try to frame him, some of them, right? He was too sharp for that. He was too sharp for that. And you heard he spoke English pretty good. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. Go ahead. Put it from the beginning.
¿Cuál es la causa de la pobreza, del desempleo, de las drogas?
de la discriminación del indio, de la discriminación del negro, de la discriminación de la mujer, de la discriminación de las minorías. ¿Dónde está la causa de todo eso? De la pobreza, del hambre, del desempleo, de la carencia.
Stop. You know, that's pretty heavy. He says the poverty, the starvation, and everything like that, right? Scripture acknowledges that sometimes, right? They say, like, you know, a thief will steal just to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Things like that. The type of theft that these elite, these corporations, all these Edomites that are in power is beyond that, right? It's insatiable. They're insatiable.
Can I read this for you?
Obadiah.
Verse 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they have had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
Come on.
That's it.
Right? So he's saying, listen, he's comparing Edomites, right? The so-called Caucasian white man. And he's saying a regular thief would only do this until it was enough.
Right, that's it.
He says they're insatiable. They would keep going. There's more?
There's a little more.
Come on.
How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
Right. He's letting you know. It's talking about Esau, right? He's talking about Esau. So he's letting you know that it's Esau that in those things is like that. But go ahead. Let's go back to this. Come on.
Recursos elementales. No hay que descubrir nada. Todo el mundo sabe que el capitalismo es la causa de todo eso. Todo el mundo sabe que el colonialismo y el imperialismo es la causa de todo eso. ¿Y cómo va a venir con ese dulce disfrazado, o esa teoría disfrazada de dulce, a convencer a millones, a cientos de millones de hombres y mujeres en este hemisferio, que en tanto exista la explotación capitalista, y en tanto exista el neocolonialismo, y en tanto exista el imperialismo, esos fenómenos pueden desaparecer? Es un engaño colosal, increíble. Y así se trata a nuestro pueblo, de verdad que es tratarlo con absoluto desprecio. Pero ¿qué hay detrás de todo esto? Es el imperio reordenando el mundo, es el imperio reordenando la economía mundial y la economía regional, es el imperio convirtiendo en policías a los ejércitos, es el imperio tratando de destruir los mecanismos de defensa, es el imperio tratando de instituir a nivel continental la enmienda Platt. Y hay muchos gobiernos latinoamericanos, de los que estaban allí, que tienen conciencia plena de los peligros que significa toda esta política. Y además tienen conciencia plena de las veces que ha sido engañado este hemisferio, de las veces que han sido engañados nuestros pueblos.
So he's talking about the Platt Amendment. If you could look that up real quick, I should have sent that to you. We'll just read it very briefly, right? And at that time, he was talking about different things, but he's talking about the way they police the hemisphere. He said they use the military as police. That's Monroe Doctrine, Roosevelt correlated, like I spoke about.
Wow.
He was hip to it.
He understood all of that.
And he's talking about colonialism and imperialism. And this is why they weaponized words against him to try to say he was a communist. They try to guise it under humanitarian aid, and we're trying to help the human people. Right. And, you know, let me tell you.
It's the same buzzwords as anti-Semitism.
Yes. Same thing that they do and same tactics, right? Go ahead. Come on.
Platt Amendment. Approved on May 22nd, 1903. The Platt Amendment was a treaty between the U.S. and Cuba that attempted to protect Cuba's independence from foreign intervention.
Right. Now, that's the story that they give you from the U.S. National Archives. Go ahead. Come on.
It permitted extensive U.S. involvement.
Here's the read between the lines. 1903, remember the Spanish-American War ended, I think, 1898 or thereabouts, right? In Puerto Rico, they went in like gangbusters and took over. We've gone over that on the show and how they dealt with it. They wanted to do the same in Cuba, but there was always resistance there. So instead, they did this Platt Amendment in 1903 to try to be involved in Cuban international and domestic affairs, allegedly for the enforcement of Cuban independence. Right? Allegedly for that. But what it really was is it allowed them to meddle in their affairs and try to dictate their future.
That was their way in.
That was their way in. The same way Trump was going on about Greenland.
Oh, yeah.
And how it was needed strategically and stuff like that. Cuba's 90 miles from the Florida Keys. They wanted a strategic point in Latin America that they could do stuff with.
Greenland
right?
is
And that's why when they invaded, they wound up keeping Guantanamo Bay. We're not going to get into all those logistics of it or whatever, but they still kept a part of it, right? And that's where they have their bases and stuff like that, where they do stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the hidden empire. I have a book about it where it shows how much bigger the United States really is than what you see on the map, right? Of just the United States. It shows all their territories and colonies that they still have to this day. And that's where they do a lot of shady stuff because when things are not, they get around the Constitution by not making them part of the United States, but territories and properties of it, you know, and that's where they'll put black sites and different things like that, where they do different things. You know, a lot of times you see that stuff and you're like, oh, that's all movies, but, you know, a lot of stuff has some truth based to it. Maybe not in exactly how it's executed, but a lot of those things have some reality to it, right? Scratch that, move that. So, modern political vocabulary is intentionally weaponized, all right? They use these type of terms, right? Socialism, communism, dictator, anti-democracy, and then they become trigger words, right? Leaders who focus on wealth redistribution or public welfare are demonized, right? They did it locally with the Panthers and all the different movements that we had here, Young Lords, Brown Berets, right?
AIM.
One of the greatest accomplishments that the Young Lords did was when they took over the hospital, right? What was that? Because they wanted equitable care for everybody, right? And they knew that because they were shitting on us as Puerto Ricans, that we weren't going to get it. So we took over the hospital, right?
Wicked Hospital.
Right. There's different things that they look at, right? Leaders who focus on those things are demonized. And biblically, this is how, all right, exactly how evil flips definitions, right? Let's get Isaiah 5:20. This is what they do.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
Right. So go ahead. Come on.
That put darkness for light.
Right. And this is what they do, right? So I want to go over the terms so we have a foundation, because I know commonly we hear these things, but we don't look at the definitions of this stuff. We figure, I don't need to be involved in that type of stuff. But if you want to kind of get your ear in tune to the different things that they're doing, right? Ultimately, you got to understand that it does affect us as a people, right? It does affect us as a people. First, I want to start with not egalitarian. Let's start with capitalism, right? Or capitalist. Remember, I told you guys how to pull them up, right?
And just to add, Officer Ira is watching. He sent over.
I told you pull them up in the definitions.
He sent an image of the amount of assassination attempts they had.
They're not pictures. I don't know why you guys are scrolling through pictures. I told you what I wanted you to pull up. I sent it in the chat. Here they go.
Damn.
Here they go. I literally sent it in the chat. Did y'all see it when I said I need these definitions and I want the variations of them?
I didn't see it.
Okay. Of course, they don't have it ready. It'll take you 2 seconds to just open up a browser and freaking type it in.
They attempted to assassinate Fidel Castro over 600 times.
Damn.
Just to silence him, just because the man made sense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I see 638 attempts and schemes.
I said I wanted capitalism first, not communism.
Come on, guys.
Right. So this is its simplest form, right? Let's read that.
Capitalism, an economic and political system in which a country's trade and industry are controlled by private owners for profit.
Right. Scroll down. Do they give any, is there like a AI assessment where they go deeper into it? Keep going. No. Okay. Let me see what, the one that says in simple terms. Right there, people who ask. Okay, you can read that. That dives a little deeper so you can understand that.
In simple terms, capitalism is an economic system where individuals and private companies own the means of production, like factories and tools, and use them to make a profit.
Come on.
In this system, businesses compete in a free market, and prices are set by supply and demand, with minimal government intervention. The goal is to generate profit through the production and sale of goods and services.
Now, it says with minimal government intervention, but you have lobbyist groups that they take money from, right? Yeah. And many of these people that sit in Congress have conflict of interest because many of them get enriched. The government official salaries are really not that much, but yet these guys become multimillionaires. Why? Because they serve their interests. They pass laws in there that favor their industries, if not necessarily their businesses directly. They're trying to push through a law now that prevents anybody that sits in Congress to own stocks, right? Because they feel that in the position that they do go in, they can manipulate markets. Trump did that all throughout the beginning of this year with all his cronies. He knew what he was doing when he pulled back tariffs and then put tariffs, market crashed. Then he said he backed off. What do you think was happening? When the markets rebounded, there were sell-offs. Who do you think benefited from those things?
Those that were in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, because the presidential office is above repute and, you know, even the things that they did try to do, he went to the Supreme Court and they ruled in his favor that he can't be tried and convicted for these things. And and it went under the rug because most of us in our simplicity are looking at gay rights and whether he's going to allow this or that. We're so focused on trivial
We're
stuff.
distracted.
We're distracted, and you don't and not that we could do anything against what they were doing anyway, but really that's what happens with capitalism, right? That's what happens with capitalism. Now, let me look up communism because this is the one that they and communism's not great either, right? Because it's never really worked anywhere that they've put it in place, right? And I'm going to show you the differences of these things. Let's read this. Communism.
Communism is a political and economic ideology seeking to create a classless society where all property is publicly owned and the means of production are controlled by the community or state. In theory, wealth is distributed based on need, and there is no private property or currency. However, in practice, communist regimes often involve a single-party, totalitarian state that controls all aspects of society, which suppresses individual rights and freedom.
And this is very true. And what they call communism, this is what it winds up being, right? And it doesn't work. It's shown that it doesn't work, right? You know that Fidel was not communist because he gave the property to the individuals. They are private property owners in Cuba, right? That in and of itself, by definition, disqualifies Cuba from being communist, right? They wound up owning stuff. Now, there were certain hotels and industries that the government had to get in because privatization, it couldn't happen with the sanctions and all that stuff, right? Now, get socialism, right? Or socialist. We do socialism since we're doing the isms. All right, socialism. Let's read that summary. Come on.
Socialism is a political and economic system where the community collectively owns and controls the means of production and distribution of goods, aiming to create a more equitable society.
Come on.
This collective ownership can be through the state, community, or cooperatives. Key socialist principles include prioritizing common welfare and often involve a greater role for government in providing social services like healthcare and education. There are different types, from democratic socialism that works within a market economy to communism, which involves a more complete break from capitalism.
Right. So some of the key differences from communism is that they talk about social ownership, right? So scroll down a little bit. Let's look at those core principles, right? Because we're narrowing in on what really biblically the way the Most High had things set up. And when we get to egalitarian, you're going to see the major difference, right? Social ownership, right? It says the means of production factories are owned or controlled by the community as a whole, not by private individuals, right? So if you're thinking biblically, kind of sounds like the community of possessions, right? They had all things common, right? Cooperative management, greater equality, common welfare. The difference is that socialism is much more driven by politics, right? That's why you have democratic socialists, and they try to meld it with capitalism, right? And it never works that way. Fidel used the term socialist versus communist because that was his intention. But what we really are seeking, and what I'm going to bring out to you and show you biblically, is egalitarianism or egalitarian, right? And there's a big difference. So now you can put up the pictures of egalitarian and egalitarianism that I put because I want those exact definitions. I want the definitions first, not the synonyms. There we go. All right. So an egalitarian economy, read that.
Asserting, resulting from, or characterized by belief in the equality of all people, especially in political, economic, or social life.
Right. Now, ironically enough, I'm going to show you the synonyms for egalitarian, and you tell me if those words mean what they say what they mean today. Go ahead, come on.
A person who adheres to egalitarian beliefs.
No, the synonyms. Come on, IT.
Egalitarian. Synonyms: democratic, equitable.
But we don't live, they say we live in a democratic society.
Right.
An equitable society, right? Equality for all. But look at the definition of egalitarian again. All right? Go to the definition again.
Asserting, resulting from, a characterized by belief in the equality of all people, especially in political, economic, or social life.
Is that democratic? So the
boom.
real, remember I said they weaponize words. The
Right.
real definition, okay, of democracy, right? The real democracy is egalitarianism, right? Where we're looking at everybody, right? And they'll try to make it seem that means everybody should make the same amount of money. Everybody, that's not what it's saying at all. But there's an element where everybody is provided for, right? Can we get the scripture where the righteous, you never seen the righteous forsaken for bread, right? And we've been breaking this down like this for a year. Why? Because we will help each other. We're not going to let somebody starve, right?
Yeah. The book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 25.
Freedom.
I have been young, and now am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread.
Right. Why? When we read how we had things structured, you're going
Right.
to understand why. You're going to understand why that was said. In Israel, he had never seen that because we don't operate like the other nations do, right? We don't operate like the other nations do. Let's get Acts 2 and 44, right? I'm going to show you Israelite egalitarianism. Israelite egalitarianism. Acts 2 and 44.
The book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 44.
Freedom.
And all that believed were together and had all things common.
Come on.
And sold their possessions and goods and parted them to all men as every man had need.
As every man had need, right? As every man had need. Now I'm going to give it more context. Let's get Acts 4 and 32, right? And then I'm going to explain these to you in totality.
The book of Acts, chapter 4, verse 32.
Freedom.
And the multitude of them that believed were of one heart and of one soul.
Meaning we were all on the same page, on one accord. One heart and one soul in the foundation of the scriptures. And we said we believe in Christ and as our Savior, all right? He will save his people from their sins. And we believe that we must still have obedience, right? We must still have obedience to the Lord, right? Sacrificial law is done away with. His blood was spilled, but we still must obey his command. If you love me, keep my commandments, right? Ye are my friends if you do what I tell you to do, right? Go ahead, come on.
Neither said any of them that aught of the things which he possessed was his own, but they had all things common.
Now, this wasn't some funky commune and things like that. We're sharing drawers and wives and spouses and kids.
right.
That's not what it meant, all right? I'm going to explain to you in detail what it really meant. What they were doing here was getting back to what was established when Moses gave the law, right? I'm going to show you. Go ahead, keep going.
Verse 33, and with great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of the Lord Jesus, and great grace was upon them all.
Read.
Neither was there any among them that
You've
lacked.
never seen the righteous forsaken for bread, neither their seed. All right, go ahead, come on.
For as many as were possessors of lands or houses sold them, and brought the prices of the things that were sold, and laid them down at the apostles' feet. And distribution was made unto every man according as he had need.
Now, it was not communism because it was not forced redistribution.
Correct.
They were of one mind and one accord, right? It was voluntary egalitarian principles, right? That they believe that it should be equitable, right? Why should any? Because when one of us suffers, we all suffer, right? So what did they do? They understood that they had that stewardship to be a unified nation and that the righteous should not be forsaken for bread. We had to look out for each other.
And no hidden agenda behind it.
And it doesn't mean that they gave up their house and didn't have their own house. It says lands and houses. They gave from abundance, right? Not their only home, not their only land. They said, look, I don't need to have all this. I can have enough that's equitable, and then I can take some of this and give to others, right?
Right.
Now, in practice, a lot has to be going right for us to do that the right way, right? But this is what really how they moved and how they were able to survive. Because I'm going to show you later, there was a time of great dearth after Christ died and what they were dealing with and how they dealt with each other. And you'll see a lot of times in Paul's letters, he was going around blasting them for the ones that was not giving like they should. Right?
Helping.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in 2 Corinthians 8. All right. But you look like somebody wanted to say something.
I want to say something real quick. That point that you made, how they were reestablishing what was established during Moses. Because think about how the Pharisees and scribes was dealing with the people. They weren't dealing with them right. So the apostles,
I'm glad you mentioned that. I had thought it, but I didn't say it. Go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say, so based off the foundation that they got under Christ with the charity, the unity, they reestablished, as you just mentioned, what was established in Moses. When somebody walks through the corn, your cornfield, and they take some of it because they're poor, that's okay to do. You know, when the scripture's talking about in Sirach about the poor and how you should help him out. All these different things that was reestablished. The Pharisees and scribes, they weren't dealing like that.
Yes, right? So biblical foundations of egalitarianism. I'm going to show you why I say they were going back to those principles. This was part of the law and how we were supposed to deal with each other, right? So when we talk about how we should work with each other, remember I spoke about some people that hustle, they just want to make their money and all that stuff like that. And I'm not saying Scripture clearly talks about a labor is worthy of his hire. You pay for good. It should be right. There's laws of restoration, right? And debtors and things like that. But I'm going to show you the levels of this and how anti-capitalist and anti-communist it is and how it's really that egalitarian. Remember, the real democracy, when you're talking about now it's become a political word.
Right. Yep.
Democratic really means equitable, and equitable goes into egalitarian. And what you see is Acts 2 and Acts 4 really shows you what that was like. But now we're going to go a little deeper. Let's get Deuteronomy 15 and 1. Because we would have debt to each other. We would lend and restore and all of that, right? And there's laws on how those things should be restored, right?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15 and verse 1. At the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release.
It was built into the law. At the end of 7 years, we had release. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 2. And this is the matter of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor.
We lent with each other. So that's not communist. Right. That's not socialist.
Right.
We didn't say forced distribution. You were able to lend, right? There's ways that we do stuff. Now, I'm going to read later. It wasn't with usury, right?
Right.
We lent, and you just expect to get it back. You didn't do it to try to capitalize, right? It was motive, right? And it was not a welfare state, right? It was always done of extra and the ability to do. Because you got some people that'll be like, well, damn, you know, you got room in your house for me and this and that, right? That's not what it's going into.
Right.
There's ways that this is done. This is why it's very difficult for a mind that has not been freed, right? Remember, that's why we read in Acts 4, I think 32, it says they were of one mind and one soul, right? We're trying to get to that. We're trying to show you how to be that way. A lot of you don't move in that right spirit, right? We're going to get there one day, Lord's willing. It's not going to have to be when the kingdom comes, right? We're going to be able within ourselves to have those type of structures and things in place, right? Because we did at one time, right? Even when we were in captivity, we did it because it showed you that in Acts that they did it. Yep. Were they in power and had their own government?
Nope.
No, but they found a way to do it within the constructs of the capitalistic society that they were living in to still have some form of that within themselves, right?
Even back then, they were saying, render to Caesar what was Caesar's.
Right.
Right, we're going to go over that too. All right. I'm going to make sure that I get it all. Right, even if I finish late, I'm gonna get it all. I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling low energy or anything.
Let's go.
So y'all just gotta bear with
Gorilla
me.
mind?
I know some of y'all might fall out. No, I didn't take no gorilla mind.
No, just natural.
Just Bustelo.
Innate.
A nap and Bustelo, right? And working out earlier. All right. Because even if some people fall asleep because it's late, you can catch the rest of it later. You gotta run it back and you gotta get it right because I can't do this in 2 parts.
We still 390 right now, so we good.
Okay, and make sure the likes equal that. All right, but go ahead, come on. Read verse 2.
Verse 2, and this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release.
Right, so after 7 years, right, now mind you, the right thing, if you're on one mind and one soul, one spirit, is that you're not just waiting 7 years to try to pay me back.
Right.
To get the release. And I think it addresses it. We're not going to go into it now into that much detail, but it addresses that kind of shenanigans
That's a good point.
Right? You were supposed to be making good on whatever arrangements we made throughout the time, right? And then the law of release came and you dealt with it, right? Because on both sides, when you're not on one mind and one soul, they kind of will come at each other to manipulate it, right? We try not to deal right because of that capitalistic. It wasn't called capitalism back then, but it was that spirit.
We were talking about this literally in the car yesterday.
Wow, look at that.
Asher. It's crazy.
Right. So, and listen, I'm going to read a few more of this. I'm not going to read to 11 for the sake of time, but really what I wanted were verses 1 through 11. But let's read just a few more verses. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 3, of a foreigner thou mayest exact it again.
Now, if you were a stranger,
heathen,
you better pay.
Right.
But of your own, you didn't do it. Go ahead, right? Come on.
But that which is thine with thy brother, thine hand shall release.
That takes a different level. We can't even esteem each other better than ourselves.
Right.
Let alone thinking that we can. That's why I laugh when y'all come to me and talk about Black Wall Street. It's Black Hustle flea market on the corner.
Damn.
Selling your wares.
Capitalism.
It's capitalism.
Damn.
It's capitalism. I'm not saying you should give your stuff away, but your thing is not in the right spirit. I'll give you an example. How many of these businesses that market to our congregation have come up without us asking them and say, I'd like to contribute to the pot, like you saw in Acts 4, because I'm making money because I'm part of IUIC.
Right.
And I'm making money and I have all this, but no, you gotta throw jabs and get people to put money out, right?
Damn.
You know you got extra. You know that when you've been down, you've gotten help. And you can't come and say, hey, I want to give, each year I'm going to give this much to the body. Do with it what you will. Right?
That's heavy.
I trust you as leadership to apply these scriptures and do this stuff. Do with it what you will. And some of you are in that spirit. Most of you aren't. Most of you aren't.
Heavy.
And if you say, oh, but I've done it, then make it known. Say, hey, I'm the owner of this and this business. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Right? I'm just throwing that out there. You do with it what you want to do.
Right.
Right? And don't think that you do that and that still puts you in the frame that you're moving in the right spirit. But you would think, right, that somebody would do that. I'll give you an example. Original Royalty, we able to help the truth with what we do, right? When you make a purchase from Original Royalty, it's not just going back into more product and stuff like that, right? It's able to benefit the truth, right?
Heavy.
It's done properly. It's done the right way, right? Anyway, go ahead, come on.
Verse 4, save when there shall be no poor among you. For the Lord shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess.
He says, if you run the economy this way,
you flourish.
All of you will flourish.
Right. Yeah.
If you run the economy this way, all of you will flourish. Right? Go ahead, come on.
Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
And carefully, why? Because you got to analyze every aspect of it. And what I'm giving you, the Lord even gave us economics when he gave us the law.
Right.
When we say he was building a nation, he was building every aspect of a nation and government. Yes. It wasn't called economics then, but he was setting things up for us. Go ahead, come on.
To observe, to do all these commandments which I command thee this day.
Being of one soul and one mind. Come on.
For the Lord thy God blesseth thee, as he promised.
You know what he's saying? You know that it's not that I'm just going to throw down manna from heaven, right? Although later, I'm going to show you how that was symbolic of something when Paul references it in 2 Corinthians, right? It's not just that I'm going to throw down manna from heaven, but amongst yourselves, you have the power to govern yourselves and be prosperous within yourselves. Only if the scriptures and the commandments are your foundation, then you're going to move in all things and you'll understand how to deal with this, right? I've been saying it for years that I want to go into a class on primarily money disorders and the emotion behind money.
Come on.
Let's go. Y'all got to remind me to not let that go.
Yeah.
I want to bring that out for a Sabbath class one day. Lord's will life last. And go into because, you know, some of us, we're not greedy. We're not into filthy lucre. But there's a spirit in each and every one of us for God money. Some of us, we're afraid to not have enough. Some of us, we're afraid of the loss of it. Some of us are greedy. Some of us have the love of it, right?
That's facts.
It's all different things that drive us, right?
Money's a big deal.
And I want to go at it from that angle, but don't let me forget to bring that out one of the. I've been saying it for years and I haven't. I'm talking about at least 8 years. I've been saying I'm gonna bring something out on it, but as I'm reading this, it's making me think of that. But go ahead, come on.
For the Lord thy God blesseth thee, as he promised thee. And thou shalt lend unto many
He
nations.
says if you do your thing right, you're going to lend to many nations. Go ahead, come on.
But thou shalt not borrow.
But you won't have to borrow from nobody. Go ahead, come on.
And thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over
Letting
thee.
you know what? That it reigning over does include economics.
Right.
And that goes back to render what to Caesar. Then are the people free, right?
Yeah.
That's why we got. Maybe I'm going to read to 11 because this establishes everything else that I go over.
That
all right.
also goes with Joseph, because with Joseph was applying the same thing in Egypt.
Yes.
And
yes.
he was put in that position because of that.
Yes. Come on. Keep
Verse
reading.
7. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart.
You have to have compassion, right? Go ahead, come on.
Nor
Open up
should-
your bowels of compassion for your people.
Nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother.
And this, remember what it said in Acts 4. They were together, they were in one mind and one soul. This don't mean that just because you Jake and you a non-repentant Jake, that I'm going to be giving stuff out, right? And now, I'll put a little asterisk next to that. Let me give a little disclaimer. We do actually do some community efforts that way.
Right.
It's not the bulk of our ministry because people would just milk you and still be the damn
take
devil,
advantage.
right?
Yeah.
But we do outreach, right? This is the stuff that they don't want to show you and teach about us. Right. But we do, and it's not just community cleanups. We do food things and stuff like that as well, but sparingly because we have to apply what it says here. Right? We do it so that you can see that because I saw a comment the other day, but they don't, the Panthers had a food program, this and that. Not saying we won't ever branch into that stuff, but y'all just want that, but you don't want to support God's movement the right way.
Well, we were in upstate New York when that whole thing, the supermarket shootout. We went over there to teach the people to heal the people. Somebody actually yelled out, "They got chickens over here. Where your chickens at?"
Damn.
It's like we didn't come here to feed you. We came here to give you scriptures and understand why these things happen.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta be in one mind and one. I'm gonna keep going back to that. That's the caveat.
That's why.
And the same thing what we read in Acts 4:32 is what you read in 15 and 5. Read 15 and 5 real quick, and then you can say your point.
Deuteronomy 15, verse 5. Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all these commandments which I command thee this day.
You want to really be a part of the economy that we're trying to build in the organized nation? You're going to have to repent. So what I say is we'll go out and we'll do this, right? We've done stuff like that. We've done it in foreign countries and things like that, right? We're starting to expand those opportunities. But we ain't going to set up no major functioning thing where we do that all the time and you ain't trying to repent. Right?
Yeah. 100%.
That's facts.
We're showing you what's possible when we come together, but you got to be on one accord in what it says, right? Acts 4:32 says, one mind, one soul. Here it says, only if thou carefully hearken unto God to do his commandments. You were going to say something. You were going to make a point?
Can you read Deuteronomy 6 and 25? Because earlier we read another scripture in Psalms where it says he never saw the righteous forsaken. Right? Read that.
Deuteronomy 6, verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness.
So in order to be righteous and in order to not be forsaken, you got to be on one accord, one mind. That applies the commandments. That implies before you get to the point where you're not forsaken, we're moving in the same spirit. Read.
If we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God,
Read.
as he hath commanded
That's
us.
what Deacon just brought out in Deuteronomy 15 and 5. He honed in on that's our righteousness to do that. So if we're moving in one spirit, one mind, then in turn we get the economy God promised from doing it.
Hey, and I'm glad you're speaking that so emphatically and bringing that out because I know some brothers that won't support fundraisers in the school, right?
Ouch.
There'll be food fundraisers and things like that.
Ouch.
If you're someone that's in one mind and one accord and their heart's in the right place, you're going to go ahead and you're going to support where you could, right? Now, listen, do I buy every plate? No, because I'm like, I don't know if I want to eat that this week or whatever it is. But generally, right? And this is why, for me, do I have the right to not pay for the fundraiser and the seat that I sit in? Sure, I think I've earned that. But I make sure that I pay for my fundraising plate.
Right.
Let that be a message to you captains. I pay for my fundraising plate for me and my family.
Facts.
Because I know what I'm supporting.
The contribution and the one mind and
Yes.
one body. Even with the
Yes.
feast day alms and all that, like we may look at it, overlook it, but even that helps. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
you
It
rank
costs
men
money.
that don't give alms.
Right, and that's
I'm
even
gonna get
bigger
to that
thing.
too. I'm gonna get
Oh,
to that
are
too.
you gonna cook with that?
I'm gonna get to that too.
Non-believers.
This ain't just about because it sounds beautiful.
Right, it does. It does.
It raises a spirit, and you say, "Yes, Lord," and then examine the opportunities that you've had to contribute to what we're doing and if you do it or not.
And remember, there was ones that followed Christ because
I
of the
paid for
miracles.
movie nights. I paid for the fundraising food. I make sure that I do all that stuff. And I'm not saying it to put myself on a pedestal, but I'm saying because I believe in what we're doing and I know that it goes. I would spend it more somewhere else
Right.
on something crappy, and maybe they snuck in something unlawful in there. Right? So I do it. If you're really about this, then your fervor and your zeal will show in that too. Give your alms every month. Then you'll show where you at. You'll show you in the right spirit.
That's right.
Right? Go ahead. Come on, read.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15 and verse 8. But thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need, and that which he wants.
Notice it said lend him. There was times when you gave him, and the caveat for that and how we apply that here is chief things.
Mm-hmm.
You can't come and ask for the church to help you with child support. That's not a chief thing, right?
Right.
You can't come for certain things and certain requests and think that we're going to say yes to it, right? But we lent. And I know sometimes we look at it and say, no, we shouldn't lend. We lent. There's times that you can lend for certain things, and there's times that you should give. Most of the time, what we gave was food related. When it was monetary, we lent it, right? Because remember, we're dealing with that sort of so lending is part of it, right? And you could say, and then what we'll usually do is we'll say, just pay it back, be consistent with your alms, right? We don't sit there and, necessarily everybody that comes with money, we do that stuff like that. We do benevolence, we give, right? We give. But I'm letting you know that in this particular thing, it shows the example that we lent, right? That's part of economy together. You can lend. The caveat is, we'll read later, is not with usury. You don't charge interest when you lend, right? You lend it and you restore it. And you're not worried about the restoration because you have one mind and one accord.
Right. You trust that they will return it unto you.
Yeah. And you're trusting that they're not going to try to jack you up for 7 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And wait till the 7 years to restore it, right? Even in that. That's what I'm saying. When you're not moving right, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
To the point where Deuteronomy 28 and 44 is in effect. Where we're not moving, with us not moving in the right mind, guess what God did? Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 44. He shall lend to thee.
I was going to go there. Thank you.
Sorry.
But in a different context.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You're in the spirit, but I'm not there yet.
Yes, sir.
All right. I have it segmented.
All praise.
But I appreciate you.
I appreciate
you. You ready to cram that?
I was about to.
Okay. I'll let you break it down when I bring it out if you want.
This is where the spirit goes.
Come on, back to Deuteronomy 15. Come on.
Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 9. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart.
Come on.
Saying, the 7th year, the year of release is at hand. And thine eye be evil against thy poor brother.
Right. No, why would he have to write this?
Because he's like, I got to let you.
Because nookers do this type of stuff. Exactly. Go ahead. Come on.
And thou givest him not. And he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be sin.
So let's say
thee.
like the release was like 3 months away. And you're like, damn, man, if I lend this brother money, I know he poor and destitute right now. I ain't gonna get this back. He says, if it's in your ability to do so and you're in the right spirit, you'll do what's right. You'll do what's right. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 10. Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest it unto him. Because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand unto.
He's saying, listen, you don't think the Lord going to bless you knowing that you weren't going to get restored?
Right.
I'm going to restore you.
Right.
Because who you think gave you this abundance anyway?
Right.
I gave you this so that you can give to him because I knew that it would not affect you in a negative way. See, that's where the faith has to be elevated with us, right? And I know that's why, we were so anxious to show y'all how we purchased the land and how it's just the beginning. We got more things that we're trying to purchase. Because I know how our people's minds work. And we're going to come out and people are going to start talking crap and say, well, whatever happened to this, whatever happened to that, right? Because first of all, it's in your spirit from here before any type of doctrine of capitalism and democracy.
Yeah.
But it's even worse now because of the way we've been conditioned and programmed and how we move with each other, right? But go ahead, come on.
Verse 11. For the poor shall never cease out of the land.
We're always going to have people that will need amongst us. Go ahead, come on.
Therefore I command thee, saying, Thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in thy land.
Let's get Leviticus 25 and 8. Leviticus 25 and 8. Remember, I told you what they were really doing in Acts was restoring these type of things again, right? Leviticus 25 and 8. This one I might not read all of it. I just read some of it. I'll see.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 8. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto thee, 7 times 7 years. And the space of 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years.
Come on.
Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall ye make the trumpet sound throughout all your land. And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you.
Jump to 13.
Verse 13. In the year of this jubilee ye shall return every man unto his possession. And if thou sell aught unto thy neighbor, or buyest aught of thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another.
You see how we supposed to deal with business? You see how we supposed to deal with business? Go ahead, come on.
According to the number of years after the Jubilee, thou shalt buy of thy neighbor, and according unto the number of years of the fruits he shall sell unto thee.
Come on.
According to the multitude of years thou shalt increase the price thereof, and according to the fewness of years thou shalt diminish the price of it.
That's fair. That's equitable. You adjust the pricing based on the years of the cycle. Go ahead, come on.
For according to the number of the years of the fruits doth he sell unto thee. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another.
Financial oppression. You be like, I don't oppress nobody. I ain't got no slaves.
Right.
Go ahead, come on.
But thou shalt fear thy God, for I am the Lord your God.
So you would support the fundraiser because you're not trying to oppress the mission or anybody else, right?
Yeah.
It says because you fear the Lord. Remember I said, why would you hold back your arms? Oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. Especially when you're a rank man.
Yeah.
Give your arms.
You got it like that.
Yeah.
You know, you survive and you make good money.
That's why brothers who are stingy, they never prosper.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Right. Hey, this is the stuff that Tobit was teaching his son.
Yes.
He said, don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing.
Leviticus 25:35.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor, and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee.
Come on.
Take thou no usury of him, or increase, but fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee.
Right. Go ahead. Come on.
Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury.
Don't lend it upon usury. Go ahead. Come on.
Nor lend him the victuals for increase.
Guess what? If I say, let's say it wasn't money. Let's say you needed sugar. If I give you a cup of sugar, you can't say you got to give me back a cup and a half. You got to give me back 2 cups of sugar. You just restore the sugar. If I gave you a Bustelo and I give you 1 can, so you got to give me back 2, right?
That's
no,
crazy.
it don't work that way. That's
Right.
usury. That's why I said on victuals too. Not just money. It was on victuals. You're not supposed to try to get an increase back, right? You're supposed to move those things the right way. You're supposed to do it in that spirit, right? Get Deuteronomy 23 and 19. Deuteronomy 23 and 19. See, I love going over the application of the laws. We notice that most of my classes tend to be like that, right? See, I was talking about Maduro and Cuba and everything, and you're like, oh, snap. And then I always, right, and even if something prophetic comes out, I always bring it back to this, because without this part, the rest doesn't matter.
Damn, charity and how important it is.
Without this part and the changing of us and the constant reminder of it, right? Because there's always opposing forces. We live in a polluted place that's always pulling us we always have to be reminded of these things, because this is our wisdom, right? And our might in the sight of the nations, like you read in Deuteronomy, right?
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 4 tells you that, right? Like they're going to say, what a wise and understanding nation this people is, right? Go ahead, read what I said. What
The
is it?
book of Deuteronomy,
19?
chapter 23, verse 19.
Come on.
Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, Usury of money.
Come on.
Usury of victuals. Usury of anything that is lent upon usury.
Right. Okay, so if I lend you my car, which I'm not into lending cars, right? But if I lend you my car, right, you should put gas back. You know, if I had a half tank, bring it back with a half tank.
Right.
It's up to you if you want to put more than that. But don't be borrowing the car and not, you know what I'm saying?
Right. That's a good point,
Right.
man.
You know,
You're cooking right now.
Bro, I'm telling you, but I'm trying to show us how these things apply. It's not antiquated.
Right.
This stuff was meant for us, for our generations. When the law was given, it was meant for our generations, right?
Yeah, D, because it be like that sometimes. You know, you help a brother out, and you kind of expect, like, okay, he's going to bring it back with half a tank. And it's like, hey, man, I'm sorry, but there's only that much. And if he didn't have it, okay, I understand. But if he has it, it's like, bro.
I don't lend a car because, you know, if they get into an accident, they're not the insured.
Oh, yeah. I'm just making that as an example.
I don't lend no
It's
damn
like-
car. You ain't driving my car.
Yeah, I have bad experience with that.
I don't care who you are. Don't drive my car.
The problem is the spirit of charity and the spirit of sincerity is lacking in our people.
Yeah. And I'm trying to bring that back to remembrance. Read verse 20, though. Check this out.
Verse 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury.
Right. You could to the other nations, you can do that. But you don't do that amongst your people. Go ahead, come on.
But unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest
Listen,
thine hand.
that's a commandment with promise. Just like the one where you read, honor thy father and mother in the Lord, so thy days may be long.
Yep.
They say that's the first commandment with promise. There's other commandments that say, if you do this, I will give you this increase. I will bless you in that. You have to believe that.
That's some heavy stuff.
You have to believe that. You wonder. That's what I say. You wonder why you're struggling. You can't hold a job. You can never step forward because you a nooker with your finances.
Bring it out.
I remember one year the sisters wanted to get the local senior leadership some stuff, right? And I went to the husbands because they got to go to their husbands, a lot of them, for the money. I said, hey, the sisters would like each of us to chip in a few bucks. I know it sounds weird because it's our money to get ourselves gifts. I said, but they want to put something together. We don't know what it is or whatever it is. Man, I'm not going to name the name so I don't embarrass the brother, but he was the first one that was like, I cursed his ass out, boy. I said, bro, just freaking put, I said, can you not afford it? I said, is that what it is? No, I just don't. I handed him his ass. Yes, I'm talking about one of your leaders at the table that sits here in Phoenix.
Oh, God.
Damn.
So I know. Now they all like, damn, I wish you would say the name because it wasn't me. The ones that it wasn't them, they want to know that it wasn't them. I'm just saying, like, that's such a simple thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, put something forth, right? What's the stinginess? You know, we try to give the gifts to the kids.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example here. The sisters, bro. The sisters, they give certain dollar amounts when they try to, you know, do something like for Purim. They try to give each other gifts and stuff like that. Man, let me tell you how the spirit of evil is applied. A lot of them, they'll say, make sure the gift is at least this much, right? So that you give 10, 20 bucks, not a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
But they'll give cheaper stuff.
Damn.
Like on purpose, they'll give cheaper stuff. Like because
no
type of
No sincerity.
I said, don't do it no more. I said, just don't do it then, right? Same thing for the kids. We try to, all right, everybody contribute $10 and give to the kids.
Damn, so we're not here yet. We're not.
Hell to the no. That's what I'm telling you, bro. And I learned the hard way when I had my business. When Abiel was my partner at one time in a business we had. And we try to give jobs to Israel, and they try to mess us up
Fired
with that too.
everybody.
We had to fire everybody. I lost my business, bro, because we hired Jake. Believers and unbelievers.
Yeah, man, it be your own
Not
people.
showing up to work, faking the funk about. You think you would go harder because you supported?
It's your people.
You would.
That's crazy.
There was there was an unbeliever that was so mad at me that
when he threw the
tried
keys?
to like record me to say something that I didn't do anything to
It
him.
was our people.
I asked him for the keys.
Yeah.
He threw the keys in the river.
Yeah, but we had our own people too that didn't do
Yeah,
us right.
bro.
Wouldn't show up for work. Would come in late.
Crazy work.
Anyway, so
Crazy.
this is anti-capitalist. This isn't capitalism. It's anti-capitalist, right? You know what it is when you do the other stuff? You know what they call it today? Predatory lending.
Yeah, facts.
That's called predatory lending.
Yep.
That's what they do to us.
Yep.
They took our laws and they do it to us.
That's what I was about to say.
And what we should be doing with each other, we try to roll like them.
Crazy.
Damn.
Shouldn't be that way. Of course, they do it to themselves too.
Right.
But, you know, we're only supposed to deal with the other nations that way. And even then, you're still supposed to be just, right? This is the interest I charge you or whatever it is, right? I'm not saying we're supposed to be... But you don't apply those things with each other, right? We don't apply those things with each other. Let's get Leviticus 19 and 9. Leviticus 19 and 9. See where I'm at. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. It's still early. Leviticus 19 and 9. I said I was going to do it. Let me not go back on my word. Leviticus 19 and 9.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 9. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest.
Come on.
And thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger.
Right. So there was laws on gleaning, right? Let's get Deuteronomy 24 and 19. Deuteronomy 24 and 19.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24 and verse 19.
And whenever you read a law again in Deuteronomy, just so you're aware, it was a summary of all the laws that were given in Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers for the younger generation. Right? Because in Deuteronomy, it's talking to it's talking to Joshua, Caleb, and the generation of the children that were born in the wilderness that went in. Because remember, none of those that came out of Egypt, save Joshua, Caleb, and their family, went into the promised land.
Yeah.
So they had to give it again, right? That's applying Deuteronomy 6 or 7, where it talks about how you should teach it to your kids and everything, right? Deuteronomy, that's why you'll see the law, you'll see the dietary law in Leviticus and in Deuteronomy. You'll see certain laws in here and in Deuteronomy. If you didn't understand why, it's because they were giving it to the next generation, right? Deuteronomy 24 and 19.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24 and verse 19. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hands.
Come on.
When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless.
So the way you harvested the olives, you didn't sit there and pick all of them. You had to
shake it.
You had to shake the tree. So when you beat it, you had a special tool, right? And you would catch it in baskets at the bottom, right? And it says once you do your first pass through, don't try to go to get every single olive.
Oh, wow.
Leave the rest for those that may be hungry, right? Go ahead, come on.
When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again.
But capitalism teaches you what? No, I need all of it.
Right.
And I want more than what I need. Go ahead, come on. That's why you read when, was it David who said, don't make me so rich that I forget thee. Don't make me so poor that I steal. Right? Go ahead, come on.
It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore, I command thee to do this thing.
Meaning you got to remember that while you may be doing well, there's still going to be some of your people that are not doing that well. So again, that's not communism. That's not socialism. Egalitarianism is very different. And remember, the direct synonym for it, strong one, was democratic. So they weaponize these words and they put it in a way that makes it seem like it's a bad thing. We always remembered that you can't rise above the state of your people. You got to remember that you got to be there for the people and help them out, right? So what you had here was food security built in to the agricultural system. That's why I say poverty is manufactured. There's enough food. It's just because of the way it's driven by capitalism, like Fidel was talking about. The way that whole thing is structured, you're not able to go ahead and be able to be equitable with everybody, right? The other part I wanted to mention about the lending, if you really think about it, what does that law of every 7 years help accomplish? When you get into debt now, what happens? Student debt, mortgages, credit card debt.
You're buried.
You're paying it forever.
Ever.
That prevents a generational poverty.
Right.
It was baked into the system that you didn't let debt carry on to other people. See, now in Esau's system, you got to come up with these trusts and ways to shield your money and things like that, right? That law of forgiveness of the debt prevented generational poverty. It did not pass on. It did not pass on because you knew that there was relief baked into the system.
Right.
And if you think about it, why was that put into place? Grace.
Mercy,
right? Grace, mercy. Because tomorrow night for the West Coast New Moon class, I'm gonna go into a little bit about understanding the grace. See, it sounds basic, but I'm gonna talk about how what was crucified with Christ was the judgments, right? And I know we know that, but I'm gonna dive a little deeper into it and talk about how the obedience is still required, and that's what Christianity gets confused.
Oh, this is gonna. I want to show you visually.
Visually,
what we spoke about the olive tree and capitalism. Can we put that up, the video? So this is how they harvest olives, right?
Oh, they got machines now.
Yeah, go ahead.
A labor-intensive process if done by hand. This machine wraps the olive tree in a mechanical hug and rapidly vibrates. The result is instant olive harvesting.
Stop.
A necessary
Wait, let it play.
advancement
Stop.
given that
Wait, you notice how the machine stopped shaking? What was it? What did you say earlier? That we had a tool, we beat it, whatever, and whatever was left, you leave it alone, right? Run it back just like a second before, because I want people to see how the machine stopped for a second. Go ahead.
harvesting can be a labor-intensive process if done by
I want you to
hand.
pay attention and see how
This machine wraps the
stopped
olive tree in
vibrating, and then it vibrated again.
a mechanical hug and rapidly vibrates. The result is instant olive harvesting, a necessary advancement given that olives only become...
I saw it. Yep.
So that's capitalism, because we got to get all them olives down.
Right.
But if we had what the Bible says, then the poor can come and get the rest of them that the machine didn't shake.
Right. And you left it, right? So we had everything baked into our society. When we talk about the community of possessions and egalitarianism, this is what Castro was really trying to aspire to. And also Chavez and Maduro. They wanted the oil not to be privatized, like I showed you with that freaking scab, that freaking chick Machida, whatever freak her name is. How she was basically saying, "Come," like an eminent whore, like you read how Northern Kingdom was, right? Opening up her freaking legs and saying, "Come take all our oil and our resources and all this stuff like that." They wanted to keep that oil within for the people. They wanted to nationalize it so that it benefited the people, and that money was then going to go to build Venezuela up. It was the same thing with Cuba. Whatever they were going to be able to reap, it was going to be able to benefit the people before it benefited private individuals. But when you understand that when it works right and you're keeping God's commandments and you're all in one accord, it was never going to work for them, right? That's why I know that's why I say the end for Venezuela and is the starting with the United States and the rest of the world global economy, they're not going to allow it, right? There's globalism, right? They're not going to allow that to be, because if people were to see that was possible and it could work,
you start messing with their pockets.
You'll start messing with their pockets. They will never let it happen.
Right.
Hey, Deke, who was that person that put cheap gas stations in?
That was Chavez.
Chavez, yeah.
That was Chavez. Chavez with Citgo, right? Put his gas stations in the poor neighborhoods, Black and Hispanic neighborhoods, and he offered the gas for cheaper than other places, right? And then what happened? Esau made it seem like Citgo was cheap gas, that it was no good, that it would gum up your engine, right? And you had to get Shell and BP and everything else, right? A lot of people don't realize those things. A lot of people don't realize that stuff, right? Let's get where we at? What were we reading?
Deuteronomy, was it 25 or?
Yeah.
We were in 25 and hold on, I lost my place. No, we were in 24 and 19. We read 19 to 22, right? So that's done. Let me get Deuteronomy 14 and 28. Deuteronomy 14 and 28.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14 and verse 28. At the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shalt lay it up within thy gates. And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou doest.
Get chapter 26 and 12.
Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verse 12. When thou hast made an end of tithing all the tithes of thine increase, the third year, which is the year of tithing, and has given it unto the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, that they may eat within thy gates and be filled.
Right. So there were safety nets for the widows. It wasn't just the Levites. It was for the widows and the fatherless too. We took care of each other, right? There was none of that, oh, I only got to look out for mine. Why? Because when you do it collectively, the burden doesn't fall on one person.
Right.
Your increase, and you gave as you were able, right? So some gave more, some gave less, but collectively you're able to support it. But you have this mentality. See, when anybody tries to hold back, it disrupts the flow. That's why he said that's evil, because not only are you going to destroy yourself, you're going to break the economy that I'm trying to put in place.
That's
right?
heavy.
And listen, I'm bringing this out to say there's ways that you see that we try to move and people resist to it, right? So you got to examine yourself. You know where your alms deeds are. You know where your supporting fundraisers and different initiatives are. You know where your spirit is. And the way the Lord has this blessed up, He sees it. He sees it.
That's the most important part.
And you're just like, damn, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. You don't think that if He sees you're willing, and it's not to do it to the point where you put yourself in dire straits, but you know, you're not holding back your arms, but you're still feeding your Starbucks habit. You're holding back your arms, but you're still feeding your liquor habit, your eating out habit.
Right. The Lord sees all that.
He sees all that stuff. He sees all that stuff, right? So that was set up. So now, let's get Sirach 4:1. Sirach 4:1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 4 and verse 1. My son, defraud not the poor of his living, and make not the needy eyes to wait long.
Right. So again, this isn't communism. It isn't socialism, right? It's telling us about the moral obligation that we have to uphold those that need. God commands us to look out for each other, right? Go ahead, come on.
Make not an hungry soul sorrowful, neither provoke a man in his distress.
Hey, let me give you an example of provoke. There's many means to it, but you know how like when we're fasting, like we stopped serving food in the school on fasting days because people wouldn't fast and then they eating in front of you. Right? That's a simplified version of this. Obviously, this is talking about people that really starving, that need food, right? And you just lapping it up in front of them like,
damn,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
You want some psych?
People would eat right next to me and I'm freaking fasting, bro. Like until we instituted, like, you know.
No charity.
And then we said, you bring your own food. We just not gonna bring them. And people would still bring their own damn food and just eat right in front of you. Don't care. Like crazy work, right? I seen some of you brothers do that stuff sometimes. Toby did it one time.
I did it.
Weren't you eating some strawberries? He was slapping some strawberries.
It was something delectable.
Right?
It tasted,
and we all fasting, bro. And he in the front row like
Crazy work.
just eating. We got on him too. He was like, "You're
stopped after that.
He said, "You're affecting my First Amendment right."
You got that type of brother too.
Go ahead, read. We're just gonna read a few more verses in this. Come on.
Verse 3, add not more trouble to an heart that is vexed, and defer not to give to him that is in need. Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away thy face from a poor man. Turn not away thine eye from the needy, and give him none occasion to curse thee.
All right, so that's it. I was gonna read till 10, but I wanna speed these parts up, right? So defend the poor, be a father to the fatherless, right? That's basically what the scripture winds up telling us. You can jump to verse 10 because we bring that out a lot, but the context was in looking out for the needy, right? Go ahead, read 10.
Verse 10, be as a father unto the fatherless, and instead of an husband unto their mother, so shalt thou be as the son of the Most High. And he shall love thee more than thy mother does.
Right. So he's saying you're going to find favor in God's eyes when you move this way. Let's get Sirach 29:1. Sirach 29:1.
The book of Sirach, chapter 29, verse 1. He that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor.
All right. Where's this coming from? We just read in the Old Testament, right, in the books of Moses, where these things were established from. The Bible is repetitive.
Yes,
right?
it is.
It's repetitive because it needs to be. Remember, I said Acts was just reestablishing what was there. You're reading in Sirach what was already established because we knew and we passed this stuff down. And why is this being told again? Because whenever we went into captivity, we became like Nookas. We took up what their customs were. And today it's in the form of capitalism, democracy, and all those things. And we don't realize how subtly we interwove those ideas into how we deal with each other. And then we say that we're about each other and we stand for each other, and it's not. And it's not, right? And on the flip side, that don't mean some people have malicious intent. This is talking about, it goes without saying, because remember, it goes back to that one mind, one accord. It's talking about people that genuinely have the need, not people that are trying to game us to get gain to help pay their bills and their child support and, you know, their credit card debts and things like that, right? Okay, go ahead, come on.
Sirach 29:1. He that is merciful will lend unto his neighbor, and he that strengtheneth his hand keepeth the commandments. Lend to thy neighbor.
Notice, see, there's the contingency of keep the commandments. Go ahead, come on.
Lend to thy neighbor in time of his need, and pay thou thy neighbor again in due season.
Come on.
Keep thy word, and deal faithfully with him.
That goes on both ends. If I lend you money and I set terms, right, I got to stick to that. And that means the Jubilee. And it likewise, you're not going to be shady with me. You say you're going to pay me back and this and that. You have to deal right. Go ahead, come on.
And thou shalt always find the thing that is necessary
You're
for thee.
never going to be forsaken for bread. You're never going to be found hungry or lacking. Go ahead, come on.
Many, when a thing was lent them, reckoned it to be found, and put them to trouble that helped them.
Be like, what you talking about? I don't remember you lending me that money.
Damn.
I paid you back that already, right? Or avoiding it and all that stuff like that. We never agreed to those terms, right? Go ahead, come on.
Verse 5, till he hath received, he will kiss a man's hand.
He going to sell you all the right things. He going to come in humility to ask you for the funds, right? And then when he don't meet the agreed upon terms or the payment day, he'll be like, I ain't got it. What you want? What you going to do? Right? Go ahead. Come on.
And for his neighbor's money, he will speak submissively. But when he should repay, he will prolong the time.
Damn. Come on.
And return words of grief.
Start cursing you out, get all aggressive. When he came to you for the money, he was all subtle. When it came time to pay up, he's getting aggressive.
Why you bugging me?
Go ahead. Come on.
And complain of the time. If he prevail, he shall hardly receive the half, and he will count as if he had found it.
Right. No, what you talking about? That's not what you lent me. Go ahead, come on.
If not, he have deprived him of his money, and he have gotten him an enemy without cause.
Right, because now I'm never going to deal with you that way again. Go ahead, come on.
He
shame on you. That don't mean that you take advantage of me and I got to keep helping you. Go ahead, come on.
He payeth him with cursings and railings. And for honor, he will repay him disgrace.
Right, come on.
Many, therefore, have refused to lend for other men's ill dealing, fearing to be defrauded.
Right, just like I'm saying right now, the Lord got to deal with me. I'm never going to hire Israel again for any of my private ventures because they did me dirty, right? I say never, but you know, if I'm applying what we're reading in this class and I'm trying to fix things, I might have to change my mind on that and I might have to do something different, right? But what happens? I can't deal with our people. I don't want to hire them. I don't want to lend to them. Yeah. Right? Go ahead. Come on.
Verse 8, yet have thou patience with a man in poor estate, and delay not to show him mercy.
Right? Why? Go ahead. Come on.
Help the poor for the commandment's sake.
Come on.
And turn him not away because of his poverty.
Right, because regardless, it's a commandment that we don't turn anybody away. That if we're able to help, that we're able to help, right? Now, that don't mean you coming up to me, Deacon Joshua, can you lend me some money? We have order instructions of how these things are done and how we have a semblance of Acts 2 and Acts 4 and how we operate here, that you really shouldn't have to go to individuals, right? We set that up and we deal with it on the church level, right? But if y'all are dealing with each other and you're dealing that way with money, know what the law is. The same way you applying the dietary law, keeping the commandments and everything else, right? You want to apply Matthew 18 with each other? You better deal with that when you're dealing this way. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 10, lose thy money for thy brother and thy friend, and let it not rust under a stone.
Right. So anyway, there's it's going into the communal wealth, right? Responsibility and how we deal with that. Let's get Sirach 34 and 21. We'll read that one real quick. 21 and 22.
The book of Sirach, chapter 34 and verse 21.
See, the laws don't got to be boring. A lot of times we're like, oh, I don't want to read the law. Just go to the law.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Give me some deep stuff. Yeah. Tell me what's the wings of this. Tell me who are the Chittum. Tell me who's this, who's that. Right? That's crazy. And then meanwhile, we got all types of things going on. Sometimes we niggas in our own house when it comes to our spouse, how we deal with money in that regard.
Damn.
I knew a brother one time, man, was going away on a trip for a week. Wife wasn't working. Left the family with 2 rolls of toilet paper and no money. Damn. You think 2 rolls of toilet paper with like a family of 3 or 4 is going to...
That's wild.
Bro, I'm talking about allegedly repentant Israelites, right? Here's $50 for 3 weeks that I'm gone, so you could
Go
buy
get something
groceries.
nice.
Go get.
Get
Yeah.
something nice there.
Bro, I'm telling you, we be wild, bro. We be wild. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 20, whoso bringeth an offering of the goods of the poor.
21.
Verse 21, the bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood.
That's why I say, like, you know, a lot of times y'all want to come for rent. And we get it. I said chief things in life. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little, you pay your rent and then we'll feed you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like that. It deals with that a lot, right? Like, it's easier to provide food security than to pay your mortgage or your rent because you were irresponsible. You know what I'm saying? You go to Tabernacles and then the month before, the month after, you asking for your rent money so that you could scam and go to Tabernacles or go to a feast day or something like that. That's not the right spirit either. Right? And that's why we usually tell you, come talk to us. We'll see what we could do. Right? We're not able to always do something, but we'll see realistically. Because remember, it's all based on you having it. Right? And if we don't have it, we can't do it. Go ahead, come on.
The bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him. And he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a blood shedder.
Right, so you got to deal right, too, when you're dealing in business transactions and things like that, because what it says is he likens it to murder. Right? It's likened to murder, right? Let's get Tobit 1 and 3. This is what Asher was referring to earlier, right? We're going to read 1 and 3 and then jump to 16. Just giving you different examples, right?
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 3. I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life in the way of truth and justice. And I did many alms deeds to my brethren and my nation who came with me to Nineveh into the land of the Assyrians.
Right. This is what an upright, righteous man does. Jump to verse 16.
Verse 16. And in the time of Enemisar, I gave many alms to my brethren and gave my bread to the hungry.
Why? Because he had lands and houses, right? Like you read in Acts 4. Go ahead, come on.
And my clothes to the naked.
Don't mean he took the shirt off his back. That's where that saying comes from, I think. Oh, take the shirt off your back. That's not what it's talking about. Saying, I got 2 shirts. I only need one right now. You have none. Here. That goes into James, too, with the faith. Where he says, be ye filled and warm, right?
Yeah.
What you're wondering why they say some of these things. And he's using those examples because it's rooted in things foundationally that us as a people. That's why I say, oh, I don't want to go into laws. I don't want to get into law. That's the lifeblood of how we become a nation and we stay organized.
Right.
You want those prophecies to be fulfilled? You fulfill them in these type of things. Because if not, they being held back until we move in that direction. Go ahead, come on.
And my clothes to the naked. And if I saw any of my nation dead or cast about the walls of Nineveh, I buried him.
Right. So if anybody wasn't able to bury themselves and stuff like that, that's why you know what I'm saying? We'll oftentimes help with funeral expense. Now, we've been telling y'all, you know, it's tough. It's not like we have so much abundance that we can help every single one. Get yourself a little burial policy. If you can't get a big life insurance, you know, we've been saying that for years and nobody's done it.
Yep.
We always have to wind up pulling the money out to do it. And we do it because when we have it, we have it. We're going to make it work and we're going to do that stuff, or we'll take a collection. But, you know, how much more could we have kept that money? Like in my death, I want to know I died and wasn't a hindrance.
Right.
So I'm trying to put things in place, right? So if not for any other reason than that, go out. Maybe your health too bad to get a good policy, you know, because you're jacked up, cholesterol high, you're overeating. Like the clip that we showed with your liver full of fat and your skin, tetas and chichos.
Damn.
But get a small policy, at least 20, 30 grand that'll help cover a funeral. You know what I'm saying? And in that way, you're not saying, damn, I died and I left them out 30 grand because they had to bury me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Not as facts.
And now we can keep that money circulating amongst those that need and stuff like that. You know? You have a burial policy? No. You?
Yeah.
You do? All praises. You?
Life.
Look at that. Okay. So, you know, what you got to do, Asher?
I got to get a burial policy.
Yeah. And then when you get married, what should you do?
Get her a burial policy.
No, get a life policy.
Oh, yeah.
So that you leave something for your wife and your kids. That's what that's a beautiful thing, that you can get yourself life insurance with enough coverage to leave an inheritance.
Yep.
If one, you're not able to build up enough for yourself, right? Or you do the strategy where you have high life while you build your assets, and then you decrease your life insurance when you have stuff to leave.
Yes, sir.
Right? So Just putting that out there for y'all. We got to start thinking that way, and it starts at home. I'm harping on the home piece and as the individual because we're talking about the community, but then we don't even apply this stuff to ourselves, right? I mean, come on, right? Yeah, IUL's not for everybody though, right? A simple term policy for most people because they ain't gonna have money to overfund the IUL. And I'm not gonna explain what it is because most of us don't understand what it is. I'm not gonna give investment advice on here. All right. All right. Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 12, right? I'm going to show you capitalism and exploitation in the scripture. Now we're going to get to where Job wanted to go to, right? He was trying to jump to capitalism while I was still dealing with the community. Right?
Yes, sir.
Deuteronomy 28, let's do 12 and 13, and then we're going to jump to 43 and 44.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 12. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure.
Come on.
The heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season. And to bless all the work of thine hand.
Right. This is the blessings, right? Go ahead, come on.
And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow.
Right. And like Bishop was bringing out, this was actually fulfilled in part when we were under the kings of Israel, right? But it's going to be ultimately fulfilled when we wind up having our established kingdom, right? But go ahead, come on.
And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail.
And I'm reading this so that you get context as to why, when we go to 43 and 44, why it says the opposite. Go ahead, come on.
And thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath.
Come on.
If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them.
All right, now jump to 43 so you can understand why the curse comes into perspective. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
Has he not done that? He runs the world. He rules it with democracy, what he calls democracy, but it's not democracy, and what he calls capitalism, which is what we're about to read here. Go ahead, come on.
And thou shalt come down very low.
Come on.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Right, that's what we live by. Go ahead, come on.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Only in the white man's world do you celebrate getting a 30-year mortgage to buy your house.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, that's the way we have to do things.
All right, captivity.
But you're celebrating the indebtedness so that
That's crazy.
they lent you the money so that you can buy a house to live in. Whereas if we were moving in the right thing, guess what? We would build the houses for each other.
Right. No mortgage.
Those who had lands and houses and all that stuff, we would put that stuff together. We ain't there yet, and we may not get there till the kingdom come, but we could try to make strides to those type of things. Right? It's hard though. It's hard when we're not all on one accord, right? I don't know if I want to give the whole example. You could. Let me just show it briefly. So let's say, right, just so you can see. And I'm not saying don't go out and get a mortgage. This, unfortunately, is the way that we got to do this stuff, right? 15, 30, and 50-year mortgages for $300,000 home price. Because now Trump's saying he's going to let you do a 50-year mortgage and everybody's happy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Artificially creating affordability by adding 20 years to what's already a crazy thing when you buy a house to make it affordable, right? His logic is you do a 50-year mortgage, the payment, and they'll come down, and it'll be affordable for people. But rather than fix things in the economy that'll bring housing down to make it affordable, right? This is capitalism for you. So let's say 15-year most people ain't going to do because it's going to cost too much, right? There's a $300,000 home, 5% down, 5% interest rate. You're not getting this, all right? But this is an easy math one, right? 15 years going to let you pay it off sooner. And you'll only wind up paying $105,000 in interest on the house. So your house was $300,000, you wind up paying $405,000, right? 30 years, what most people would do so the payments can be cheaper, right? You wind up paying $550,000 for a $300,000 house because of the interest, right? A 50-year mortgage on the same $300,000 house, and that's wherever the hell you think you're going to find a $300 house today, makes it that much more affordable, right? The payment almost comes down in half from a 15-year. But then you wind up paying $776,000 for a $300,000 house if you live long enough to pay the thing off.
And that's not including repairs and everything
that's not including everything else that comes with it, right? That's not including everything else that comes with it.
Carry over to whoever.
And then the debt carries over. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's things that you could do if you can play in their sandbox to minimize certain things and how you transfer that stuff. But
that's
right.
usury. To another
That's
level.
usury to
Yeah,
another level,
to
bro.
another level, yep.
That's usury to another level. I'm going to pay more in interest than what I paid for
That's
the house
why-
over the life of the loan.
Here's your house, but give me that and more back.
And I'm not saying don't do it, right? Because in most cases, you're going to outpace rent increases and everything else, right? And as long as you pay, you do have your dwelling, right? But what I'm saying is it's so broken in the way that it's set up, and it doesn't have to be that way. That's why when Fidel took over, he gave property to everybody. Now, because of the blockade, they weren't able to sustain it and whatever, so things are a little run down and shoddy and stuff like that. But he gave it. They don't pay rent. I don't know if it's changed since we visited, but they don't pay rent. At the very least, they are able to survive with the rations and everything that they have.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
Because they don't have to pay rent.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
Now, it's not like you get in a nice apartment here with air conditioning and stuff like that, right? That's different situations. But again, there's dynamics that go to it. But you saw that crowd of people that were in support of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They support of what he was trying to revolt against. So modern global financial hierarchy visits what you see in these biblical curses. And you could say, okay, that's not only on the Israelites. It's true, right? But remember, when we're in power, we don't usury to each other, and we're able to do it to the other nations. They're in power, and they're doing it to everybody.
All the way around, yeah.
Right? Let's get Nehemiah 5. Let's get Nehemiah 5.
Let's go.
See how we try to deal that way with each other. Nehemiah 5.
You want verse 1?
Start at 1.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 5 and verse 1. There was a great cry of the people and of their wives against their brethren, the Jews.
Right, so this is it's not the other nations. It's against their brethren, the other Judites that had money and authority. Go ahead, come on.
For there were that said, we, our sons and our daughters, are many. Therefore we take up corn for them, that we may eat and live.
Come on.
Some also there were that said, we have mortgaged our lands, vineyards, and houses, that we might buy corn because of the dirt.
So they were going in famine, and there was certain Jews that were dealing dirty with them. And instead of applying the laws that we just read, they made them mortgage their lands and all these different things in order to give them of their abundance. It wasn't supposed to be that way, right? They capitalized, which is where capitalism comes from, right? Go ahead, come on.
Verse 4, there were also that said, we have borrowed money for the king's tribute, and that upon our lands and vineyards.
Right, because they still had to pay the king's tribute. Everybody still had to pay taxes, right, to the rulers, okay? What did they do? They went to the ones that had money, and instead of giving it to them, right, because Christ showed he gave the money and paid the taxes for the disciples, right? These that had lent it to them to pay their taxes, right? And that creates the vicious cycle of debt. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 5, yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, our children as their children. And, lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants.
What was the bondage? That they were going to be subject to payments. Go ahead, come on.
And some of our daughters are brought unto bondage already. Neither is it in our power to redeem them. For other men have our lands and vineyards.
Right, so the poor mortgaged lands and children, right? And the nobles amongst them demanded interest, right? So what did Nehemiah do? Read.
And I was very angry when I heard their cry in these words.
Come on.
Then I consulted with myself, and I rebuked the nobles and the rulers, and said unto them, ye exact usury, every one of his brother. And I set a great assembly against them. And I said unto them, we, after our ability, have redeemed our brethren, the Jews, which were sold unto the heathen. And will ye even sell your brethren? Or shall they be sold unto us? Then held they their peace and found nothing to answer.
Right. And you know why? Because he knew that he was giving them the law.
Right.
He said, bro, y'all violating the law right now, right? We were in captivity for not keeping the law. And now we get some liberty and we're trying to build things back up. And this is how you want to start us rebuilding our city and our tabernacles? Right?
Yeah.
Taking advantage of your own people. You're rolling like the captivity we just came out of. Right? This is why, this is verse 9 in context. Go ahead, come on.
Also I said, it is not good that ye do. Ought ye not to walk in the fear of our God?
Right, which is why I spent so much time going over those laws. He's saying, are you not walk so that we can do the economy the way God said to do it? Go ahead, come on.
because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies.
Right. We usually go here to show that the heathen are our enemies, but he's saying, look, this is how they deal with us. You want to deal that way? Come on. That's not the right way to deal. Come on.
I likewise, and my brethren, and my servants might exact of them money and corn. I pray you, let us leave off this usury.
Stop dealing like the heathen deal with us. Right? Go ahead. Come on.
Restore, I pray you, to them, even this day, their lands, their vineyards, their olive yards, and their houses.
Give them the forgiveness. Forgive the debt because you didn't do it right. Go ahead. Come on.
Also, the 100th part of the money, and of the corn, the wine, and the oil, that ye exact of them.
Right. So he's basically saying, give them back the interest.
Yeah.
Right. The 100th part of the money, that's the interest portion. Right. Stop to give them back the interest. Not saying that they shouldn't have to pay back, but they're going to pay back based under the 7-year law of Jubilee, not what you're putting out here. Go ahead, come on.
Then said they, we will restore them, and will require nothing of them. So will we do as thou sayest.
So they said, all right. You checked our spirit. We're not going to require anything of them. We're going to grant them forgiveness. Go ahead, come on.
Then I called the priests and took an oath of them that they should do according to this promise.
So they did it in witness of the priest because it's like confessing in front of God, right?
Right.
So that you could keep your word because they knew that Anuka would go backwards on that, right? So he rebuked them and he forced restoration, right? You saw capitalist style exploitation, right? Let's get Isaiah 5 and 8. See if I want to go there. Isaiah 5 and 8.
The book of
I'm
Isaiah.
going to try to spit. I got maybe 2 more. Damn, I want to get to the other part. Nope, I'm going to skip that. Let me see what else I got.
Is this not a day to go plus?
Yeah, but it's already 10:30, and I want to get the rest of this in. I won't. I got like another hour of content, and I don't think I can go another hour. Let's get Baruch 3 and 8 so we could deal with the payments part, right? Because a lot of times we bring this out. We don't really discuss it enough, right? And then some people try to break it down wrong. I'm talking about people who try to come against us because they say we use this as a captivity verse.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
Right, so this is under Babylon, I believe, right? They're in captivity. Go ahead, come on.
Where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments.
Why? Under Babylon, right? Go ahead, come on.
According to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God.
Right, so heavy taxes, tribute, economic servitude, right? We live in a modern time with that, with debt, taxes, foreign controlled monetary systems. Right. So when they try to say that we bring this out to say we're in captivity and they say we're all under it, right? No, because the way that the system was supposed to set up when we were in rulership is that the other nations would always have to have those payments to us, right? And we even had payments with each other, but it wasn't under usury. It wasn't that generational poverty with that debt and stuff being passed down. It wasn't set up that way. So this very much, because you got Christians that try to come against us and say that we're using this verse wrong. We're not.
Right.
It's showing how that just the mere fact of how the world is run right now shows that we in captivity.
Exactly.
Right? Israelites, not the whole world, even though they're subject to payments too, they're supposed to be.
Right.
But it's supposed to be to us.
Systematic oppression.
Right. It's systematic oppression. And it affects our people the most. Let's get Matthew 17:24. Right? Tying all the payment stuff together. Let's going through this quickly.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 17 and verse 24. And when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter and said, doth not your master pay tribute?
Right, so it was the tax collectors. Go ahead, come on.
He saith, yes. And when he was come into the house, Jesus prevented him, saying, what thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children or of strangers?
Come on.
Peter saith unto him, of strangers. Jesus saith unto him, then are the children free.
Right, then are the children free. Why? Because a lot of times we read that. Now with the context of what we gave in Leviticus and Deuteronomy, you understand why he says that, right? Why he says that. Because when we're in power, keeping God's commandments in one mind and one accord, we're not paying tribute to each other. The other nations pay tribute to us. That gives you the understanding of the curse in Deuteronomy 28, 43, 44, right? Again, validating even more what? Do you think the ones that call themselves Jews today are in that? They're not. They're not. They're part of the capitalist society. That's how they move.
Right.
I would dare say they are the engine that drives it. Right? Go ahead. Come on.
Verse 27, notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go thou to the sea, and cast an hook, and take up the fish that are first cometh up. And when thou hast opened his mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money. That take and give unto them for me and thee.
Right. So he says, give unto them for me and thee. Go to 22 and 17.
Chapter 22 and verse 17. Tell us, brethren, what thou thinkest thou? Or what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar?
You're going to see Baruch 3 and 8 in action here, right? So it's under every rulership. In Baruch, it was under Babylon. Here it was under Rome. Now it's under America and the world foreign monetary system. Go ahead, come on.
Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? But Jesus perceived their wickedness and said, why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he saith unto them, whose is this image and superscription? They say unto him, Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's.
He's saying you get back to doing what you need to do by keeping God's commandments and applying those things amongst each other, and then you won't have to worry about navigate. So for now, you got to navigate this wicked world and be subject to payments. But when you get right, render what's to God, that's to God. So that's sovereign BS that people be coming up with in Israel sometimes.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Circumvent the,
No, you're supposed to navigate the system that we're under. Render unto Caesar. In captivity, this is their system.
Right.
This is what we do, right? And remember, the captivity stresses us because who did the blessing apply to?
Us.
Right. So the argument where they try to break that down and say we're all subject unto payments, no, that's the way the world's going to be whether we're in power or not.
Right.
But when we're in power, we're not supposed to be subject unto payments.
Right.
When the Israelites are not subject unto payments, then you know that's a sign that the world is right side up, right? That we're moving the right way. Let me see. I'm going to skip that. Okay. I'm going to run back to Castro and tie this together, and then I got one more section. So I want to tie this to Castro, Maduro, and Chavez, right? And all the different coups. So Fidel Castro with Cuba, what happened? He overthrew a U.S.-backed dictator. He overthrew Batista, right? He was backed by the United States, right? He nationalized the resources instead of privatizing them. And remember, their whole intent, the United States, when they came in, is like what they did with Puerto Rico. They wanted the same thing in Cuba, right? With the Platt Amendment, right? And that's why they wanted leaders in there that were going to comply with that. We're going to come in, whatever resources you have, we're going to privatize it. And we just so happen to be not only the governors and congressmen, but we also happen to be the business owners that are going to privatize it and benefit from it as well, right? And he says, what we're going to do then is we're going to go ahead and put people in place that's going to support that. That's what the revolution was about. Castro took over. You saw the clips of where his heart was and what he wanted. He nationalized resources, and he tried to redistribute land, healthcare, and education. Education wasn't just for a few elect that could afford these Ivy League schools and stuff like that, right? Immediately, he was cast as a communist threat because of that, right? Damn. I'm giving you the shorthand version. He was hit with embargoes and sanctions that intentionally crippled the economy. And it made it look like it was because of what he was doing is why it didn't work.
Right.
But it was because they cut him off. Because
he wouldn't play games.
Because of that Brentwood thing,
that's
which I'm going to touch on next week, all right? Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro, because Maduro was down with Chavez and he tried to keep that up, right? Heavy focus on nationalizing the oil because it's the world's largest oil reserve, right? It's the world's largest oil reserve. Redirecting profits from that nationalized oil to social programs. So he didn't want to privatize the oil so that private companies could get rich. He wanted the government to leverage the oil so that they can make money and then put it into his people and into the country.
That's
right?
heavy.
He was going to do something similar to what Castro was trying to do. But this time, Chavez and Maduro said, but we got oil and we got the world's largest oil reserve. We got the black gold that they love and thrive for. So we have an advantage. Ha! That's what you thought. That's what you thought. And it didn't work. And what's the result of it? Embargoes, sanctions, all this poverty, all this craziness that's going on in Venezuela, right? If you do not play ball, you're not going to get it, right? Where's that? Is it in Revelation? Get that? Read that real quick.
About the mark, right?
Yep. So what wound up happening with Maduro and Chavez is that sanctions, economic warfare, internal corruption, and mismanagement. So you get chaos. But the West will say socialism failed, right? And they won't blame it on sanctions, power games, class wars, anything like that, right? So when a nation moves towards anything that looks like resource redistribution, that looks like anything biblical, right, or egalitarian. Now, we know it's not going to work because they're not keeping the commandments. Remember, it's contingent on being in one accord with God and the commandments, right? So none of them are going to be able to accomplish it. But what I'm trying to show you is that their hearts were in the right place and what they were trying to do, and the Lord's blocking it because they're not keeping the commandments. He's using, remember, they're the ministers to do evil unto them that do evil, right? They stamped as socialist or communist because those are trigger words. And they say, see, it doesn't work. And we have to go in and we got to give them relief under the guise of capitalism. And what it does is it opens it up to them so they can enrich themselves in the free markets, right? Enrich themselves in the free markets, right? Point number 2 before we read Revelation, right? The Bible itself, as we read, right, in Leviticus, Deuteronomy, right, in Sirach, even in Acts, land is supposed to reset, debt's supposed to be forgiven, no usury among brethren, and provision for poor, widows, and fatherless should be made, right? That sounds like what they try to stigmatize as socialism, right? And even communism to some extent. But like I said, it's not any of those. It's actually egalitarian, right? That's the word that you want. And egalitarian is the true democracy, is the true democratic means, right? The global capitalist system mirrors Deuteronomy 28 about the lender and the borrower curse, right? We were going to go over Amos 8, but it's talking about buying the poor for silver. Baruch 3 and 8, subject to payments. Nehemiah 5, they basically said you're doing like the heathen does, right? So when a leader tries to, even imperfectly, is the point I'm trying to make, to move closer to an egalitarian direction, he gets treated like the enemy, right? And there's this propaganda that comes out and they say all these things, just like they declared Maduro a terrorist so that they could have more leeway to go in and do the things that they're doing, right? Just like Israel's righteous economic laws would threaten today's systems. They don't want to see that these things can succeed because then it basically shows the monsters, the evil, the demons that they are, right? Read this in Revelation.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
That were agreed with their agenda, their doctrines, right? You got to accept what we pushing, what we slinging. Go ahead, come on.
Or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom.
All right, that's it. That's all I wanted on that, right? So just so you can see that that's in action now. All right, last section. I'm going to try to go through this quick. I was going to go to the bathroom, but I'm going to go through this quick, and then we can move to closing thoughts and stuff. So, let's get Second Corinthians, like Bishop says sometimes. Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go through all of this. Let me see. Let me see where I want to go. 2 Corinthians 8. I am going to have to condense this for time's sake. You know what I could do? I'm going to do the fast version of this today, and then I'll rehash it in full next week, Lord's will, because I'm going to talk about the burn. So I'll do it as a segment next week. But I'm going to give you the correct, the condensed version today. 2 Corinthians 8. Just to show you how in Acts it was being applied this way. And I'm just going to paraphrase some scriptures of where you can go to look for it. All right. So let's read 2 Corinthians 8, and let's start at 8.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 8 and verse 8. I speak not by commandment, but by occasion of forwardness of others, and to prove the sincerity of your love.
So stop for a second. Let me give you a little context. Go to 2 Corinthians 8. We're going to read 1 and 2.
Verse 1. Moreover, brethren, we do you to wit of the grace of God bestowed on the churches of Macedonia, how that in a great trial of affliction, the abundance of their joy.
So Macedonia was struggling more with the famine at the time, right? Damn. What Paul was doing here, I'm going to give you in summation. In Acts 11, 27 through 30 is going to give us the point. We're going to come back and finish this. Let me just get that. I'm jumping around. Acts 11, let's read 27 through 30. So you can see what was happening. Acts 11, 27 through 30.
The book of Acts, chapter 11 and verse 27. And in these days came prophets from Jerusalem unto Antioch.
Come on.
And there stood up one of them named Agabus, and signified by the Spirit that there should be great dearth throughout all the world.
Come on.
Which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar.
Read.
Then the disciples, every man according to his ability, determined to send relief unto the brethren which dwelt in Judea.
Right. So they said, we're going to go to the provinces and the scattered churches where the people are, and we're going to apply Leviticus and Deuteronomy, and we're going to collectively. This expounds on Acts 4 when it says that they had all things common. A lot of times we don't go deeper and distribute to every man had need, because it wasn't just for in good times. It was in times of dearth. There was going to be some that needed more, and some were doing okay. They made it their mission that as they went out and ministered, they would also collect so that they can help the ones that were fathers, widowless, applying the law, that were struggling in Jerusalem, right? So they said, we're going to go out. And ironically enough, where were they and who were they preaching to help the Jews in Jerusalem?
Judea.
You said, where were they?
Where did they go to get the money to help the Jews in Judea?
The other churches.
Who were the other churches?
Like the Philippians and...
Who were the other churches?
The Gentiles?
Who were the Gentiles?
Northern Kingdom.
And Israelites that were... So who provided for the... Who actually applied? This ties into the Good Samaritan.
Damn.
Who applied? You heard the...
IT in the back, like
Northern Kingdom,
right.
having not, and not just Northern Kingdom, it was others, right?
Right.
Having not
had the laws and kept those. Remember, they were strangers from the covenants and all that stuff.
Right.
Applied those. Well, not Corinthians. We're going to read that he was cursing them out because Corinthians didn't step up. Right. That's the whole point of 2 Corinthians 8. I'll do it slower next week. Right. Northern Kingdom was in that. I got to put it in there because Judah be liking to get on Northern Kingdom.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it ties into the Good Samaritan, because it was all that Southern Kingdom that didn't help, but it was the Samaritan, the Northern Kingdom, that helped. They applied that law more readily to help the poor and impoverished that were in Judea dealing with the dearth and the famine than Judah was ever doing. Right? Read verse 30 so you can see. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 30. Which also they did, and sent it to the elders by the hands of Barnabas and Saul.
Right. Now, let's go back to where we were. 2 Corinthians
8 and 2.
8 and 2. Go ahead, come on.
2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 2.
So for all those in modern times that be like, they don't help us, they don't want to be in our affliction. It's true. I went over a whole show blasting Northern Kingdom for not getting on board for helping because it's the same afflictions and stuff like that, right? But you got to remember, there were times where we really rallied and we stood with the people. And we weren't all silly doves. You know what I'm saying? Like there was some of us that stood. Just like now, you see that portion repenting now, right? But go ahead, come on.
How that in a great trial of affliction, the abundance of their joy and their deep poverty abounded unto the riches of their liberality.
Right, of their liberality, or meaning what? Because liberality really goes in. That's another word that got twisted. Remind me to touch that with Proverbs 11 and Isaiah about the liberal next week as well. All right, don't let me forget. They take that now and politicize the word.
Right, liberals.
To mean liberals, and liberals means gayness and transgenderism and all this other stuff, right? Yeah. The real root of the word, and I'll prove it next week, goes into generosity, right? So when you see liberality here, it means generosity. And the generosity goes back to what we were talking about in the laws of Leviticus and Deuteronomy and how we would help in that, what we read in Nehemiah and how we were supposed to, and then they wound up doing it after they got corrected, right? So he says, so when it says their liberality, he's talking about their generosity. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 3, for to their power I bear record. Yea, and beyond their power, they were willing of themselves.
Even though they were in the struggle, they even gave above what they were able to give to help those disenfranchised, struggling Jews that were in Judea. Go ahead, come on.
Praying us with much entreaty that we would receive the gift.
Because they were like, no, we understand. Just give the little that you need to give. And they said they were praying to them and entreating them, take it. We want to help our brethren that are there. Once we knew that we were the same and that we can come back, Christ broke down that middle partition and there's Jews that's ready to receive us back. We about the business. We about the fight. Go ahead, come on.
Yeah.
And take upon us the fellowship of the ministering to the saints.
Right, the ministering to the saints. We want to help them. They're out there, they're ministering, they're bringing this law back to us and the understanding in Christ. We want to help them. Jump back to verse 8.
Verse 8. I speak not by commandment, but by occasion of the forwardness of others, and to prove the sincerity of your love. For ye know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Next week, I'm going to prove that it was the saints in Jerusalem, right? I got the precepts and everything. I'm just going over that because we'll be like,
Right.
I know there's a lot of screw face doing this right now. Right? Go ahead, come on.
That, though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor.
Wait, where verse are we in?
That was verse 9.
Read it from the top again, 9.
For ye know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though...
Well, in verse 8, I'm sorry, I wanted to, he says, prove the sincerity of your love.
Right.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
Go ahead, come on.
For ye know the grace of your Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for your sakes he became poor.
And he uses Christ as the example. He was the king. He didn't have to deal with anything that he dealt with. He didn't have to come down and get ridiculed and hold back his power and his might and his authority and suffer what he suffered. He came down to be on our level, to sacrifice himself for us. Go ahead, come on.
That ye, through his poverty, might be rich.
No, and he's not talking about poverty that he was poor. Yeah. He's talking about spiritually that he came down and he behooved himself to be like us.
That's that Revelation 2 and 9. He knows your tribulation, poverty.
Yes. That's why he was able to say it.
Right.
When it says that he behooved him to become like us in all flesh, Revelation 2:9 goes into that. I know thy poverty, thy tribulation. Mm-hmm. He's not saying that I know it because I'm the author of those things, right? He's saying I know it because I lived it with y'all. I took it. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 10. And herein I gave my advice, for this is expedient for you. You have begun before, not only to do, but also to be forward a year ago. Now, therefore, perform the doing.
He says you committed to it, and now you're being, like back in the day, follow through. Go ahead, come on.
That as there was a readiness to will, so there may be a performance also out of that which ye had.
You were willing and you said it.
Right.
Now you have to do it. The performance, and you can use this to go into the same thing of how God expects performance from us, which is the obedience as well. I might add this to my class tomorrow night for that context.
1 Samuel 2 and 3.
Yes.
To making vows or making sure to use
yes. Go ahead, come on.
Verse 13. For I mean not that the other men be eased and ye be burdened.
Right. It's not because we trying to put you on diverse straits. Right. Go ahead, come on.
But by an equality that now at this time